Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to checking out the YouTube version of Cinematic Autopsy. We've noticed a lot of you are watching and have not subscribed.
Yes.
So,
Please
it would,
subscribe.
yeah, before we begin, it would be wonderful if you guys could click on that little link right there, right, see where I'm pointing right there, and you'll notice that if you scroll down, you'll see subscribe. So subscribe to us, CL Squared Productions. You'll be able to see our videos, stuff
We have lots of cool
yeah, our
content for you
trailers.
guys. You'll know everything
Yeah.
that we're up to in the
Exactly.
film world, whether we're talking about it or doing it.
Exactly. So let's give you 5 seconds to subscribe. All right, everyone. We'll see you guys soon.
Hey everybody, how you all doing?
Hi.
This feels like one of the early episodes,
It does.
uh,
It does. Yes.
where you
Yes.
get the low energy Charles until something fires me up, and then I rant for the rest of the
I'll
fucking,
just sing the entire musical. How about that?
you know.
Well, no, I don't want
So,
to wake up all the neighbors, but I'm in the middle of the woods in a tornado.
are
So,
you went into the
yes.
woods, and now you're going to Oz if the tornado gets you.
I'm really proud of that sentence you just said. I'm very proud of you.
There you go.
Like that impressed me a little bit. I was
There
like,
you
that was
go.
very
Well,
you
I'm
brought
just,
we're talking about Jesus Christ Superstar, which is like my first musical and one of my favorites of all time, and then and then you bring out my other two favorite fucking musicals in one sentence. It's like this is like Christmas for me.
there you go. I'm just that fucking clever, if we're being honest about it.
That was
Uh,
really clever.
Yes. Hey everybody. I am Charles D. Lincoln,
Hey, I am Chelsea LeSage. Hello,
and
hello.
I am not feeling great, so I want you to all excuse me with my low energy. I insisted that the show must go on because I am, of course, a consummate showman.
Yes, and it's in the middle of the fucking night too. So
Perhaps, perhaps even the greatest showman, you.
I've never seen
Um,
that. You know that? I've never seen The Greatest Showman. I refuse
I
to.
started and then had to immediately stop it because it had modern music and fucking 19th century like period.
Yeah, I hate that. The only way you can do that is Moulin Rouge. Don't ever try it anywhere else. You
You know
know,
what?
like
Moulin Rouge didn't even do that. Moulin Rouge took modern songs but did not play them in a modern fashion.
that's true. Oh, well,
This
I guess I wouldn't know The Greatest Showman did it in a modern fashion because I've never seen it because I refuse.
this is not even taking modern songs and playing them in an old fashioned way. This is playing them the way they're played now.
I don't like that.
Yeah, like I will say you're never going to play it, and anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled for this can skip ahead like approximately 1 minute. There's a video game called BioShock Infinite that takes place in 1914 or something like that.
Dylan used to like that game.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about it is that there's a fucking barbershop quartet playing like God Only Knows from the Beach Boys. God only knows what I'd be without you. And like all this, Take on Me from Aha.
Hmm.
And the game later on has to do with like portals and all this other shit. You
Yeah, that's the part I remember.
you can find there's this great composer who wrote all these songs, and he is like basically looked at as the greatest composer of the 19 tens or whatever. And you find if you it's totally optional, but if you go to his mansion later on in the game, you discover that there's a fucking portal in his house that goes to
Ooh,
our time, and he's taking modern songs and that he knows are
what?
not going to be composed for 70 years, and then writing and basically copying them and saying he wrote them.
I think that's brilliant. I didn't know that. I have to tell Dylan that.
And I'm like, that's amazing. Because I was like walking to this section. I'm like, wait, that sounds like God Only Knows from the Beach Boys. And I look at it, it is. And there's like 10 fucking modern songs in there that are his big hits in the game. And then it turns out that he's just a fucking plagiarist but with a plagiarist to another fucking like time period.
I think that's amazing. That's really clever. Like
Yeah,
now I actually want to care about that game.
yeah, I fucking loved that so much.
What console was that? That must have been, was that the PS1? Was that the Wii? What was it?
No, it was PS3, and
Okay.
there's a PS4 version. There's
Oh,
a
is it
there's a
cross-platform
collection.
though?
There's a collection with all of the games on it
Oh, that's
for
cool. Is it
PS4.
cross-plat? It's not cross-platform, it's just PlayStation.
It's I mean, it was also on Xbox, but you can't play with
Because I'm just trying to think of what console Dylan was playing it on.
I mean, did he have an Xbox or a PlayStation or a PC?
We're a PlayStation, PC, Nintendo family.
Yeah, then he probably played it on one of those three.
Yes.
Because it was.
But he didn't have a PS3 or a PS or a PS4. He had a Wii, a GameCube, a PS1,
Then he might have played it on PC because it did
and the
not come out
Switch.
for it didn't come.
Okay.
Let me see. I don't think it came out for Switch.
This is now a podcast about video games.
Let me just see if BioShock Infinite. What game? You talk about your experience with this film, with this play,
Yes.
as I look this up.
Priorities. Yes. So Jesus Christ Superstar. This is the 1973
Yeah,
movie.
only
Yes.
came out on PlayStation 3, Windows, Xbox 360, and OS X, whatever the fuck that was.
What is that?
I don't know. That seems like something nerdy. Oh, there was a Switch version of the collection.
Okay, so that was it then.
Because it was
Great.
a PS4, because it was a PS3 game, they were able to fit it on a Switch because the Switch is behind the PS4.
Ah, I
Yes.
realized that like we didn't have to have this debate or like figure out any of this. I could have just texted and asked him.
Yeah.
What
So there was a
console
Switch
it was on.
version. There was a
Yeah, so
Switch
anyway,
version.
amazing. Jesus Christ Superstar is one of the greatest
Jesus
musicals
Christ
written of all
Superstar.
time.
There was a Switch
Yes.
version of Jesus Christ
Mhm.
Superstar.
Yep. And there are portals in that too.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, one of the greatest things ever written. My first musical that kind of got me into acting altogether.
Mm.
So
have you ever seen this version?
100 times.
Do you know Andrew Lloyd Webber hates this version?
Yes, I do.
Yes. He absolutely despises it, apparently.
Yes. Yeah, I know. He refuses to even like say that it's like his musical. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The version that they did, sorry, you can hear Gertrude snoring. I'm at my mother's house. The it's like extra loud. Like you can hear her
I don't hear
forever.
it, but I'm sure I will when I edit this.
Yes. So yeah, a couple of years ago they did like how they every year NBC does that like live action musical thing. They
Yeah.
did it a couple of years ago with John Legend
The
as
2018
Jesus.
version, that's the version. He loves that version.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is really well done. But this is the OG, man.
I've seen that version too. But I saw
Yeah.
this in the fucking 90s.
That's awesome.
Like this was full on like, fucking delusional psychotic Charles with like his, fucking group of, girls following him. Like
How did I
this.
see? I think of you as a Judas or a Pilot.
No, oh my God, I had
No, but now.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I actually, I'll talk about it. The first thing I ever auditioned for, I was going to audition, then I dropped out. Because I saw this in the 90s, and because of my whole like weird Messiah complex I had then I became obsessed with it. And it like was sprinkled throughout my band's like fucking stuff. Like we came on stage to the fucking overture.
That's amazing. It's also the greatest overture ever written in all time.
Oh, it is.
Sorry, I said it.
It
is
came
the
on.
only time.
Yeah.
It is the only time I have to say this. It is the only time in the 2012 Broadway revival, which I actually Gertrude, can I have it? Which I actually have the sweater from right here. It says Jesus Christ Superstar at the back of it.
I
I don't know if you
cannot.
can see
I
it.
literally just see a cross.
Oh yes, but this is from the 2012
Yeah,
revival when I used to spend $70 on sweaters at Broadway shows.
yeah.
See, there we are.
There you go.
But all right, Peanut, you can have it back. But it is the only time in history that I have had an orgasm without anyone touching me.
Mm.
Was in the front row at the 2012 Broadway revival
Hmm.
of Jesus Christ Superstar during the overture. They had this great little part of the stage that came out over the first like 8 rows that like Jesus and Judas were on at the beginning of it. And as he was coming out over me, and what was embarrassing is Dylan was sitting right next to me.
Was it still
And
Ted Neely?
no, this was Paul Nolan. It was 2012.
Okay. Well, I'm reading that he actually has been playing it for 50 years.
Yes, no,
He
it
still
was
does it, apparently.
yeah, 2012. It was I mean, for all you Broadway fans, if you're listening, Paul Nolan is Jesus, and Josh Young as Judas, and Shalina Kennedy as Mary Magdalene, and it blew my mind. I saw it on Broadway like 100 times,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's the only time I've ever had an orgasm from anything. Like, yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
So basically, I used to pepper it all. In fact, one of our songs, the 3 years, 10 months, 8 days, which was the first song that anyone ever knew my old band Dark Eden from. The literally the first line of the chorus is "We've no king but Caesar."
We have the
So
king of
yeah, I peppered it throughout all of
Caesar.
my shit. We covered fucking King Herod's song.
Oh, well, of course you did.
You know, because if you stop making it sound like a weird ragtime song and
Hmm.
make it kind of metally, boy, is that the most blasphemous fucking song you could ever do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what I realized this time around watching it? Because I haven't seen it in like, when did it was my first musical. So what was
Hmm.
that? It was 2006
Yeah.
or 2007.
Yeah.
And so I haven't seen this movie like since then, or maybe like
Hmm.
once, but I realize now that Herod in the movie looks like Fat Jonah Hill. He does. I was it was amazing. Oh, also you will get random quotes from my mother who watched
Yeah.
that are fucking hilarious during the run of this podcast.
Yeah, but like, so I had like this weird obsession with it, and I looked at it as like this weird prophetic thing, but not
Hmm.
about like it was like my weird, like, about my own ascension and like all this, like
I can't imagine having a messiah complex. It's just astounding.
it and keep in mind, you like, I don't know if it makes more sense or less sense that you know me, that the reason I got out of it is I got bored of having people follow me.
That makes sense.
It was
That makes sense.
But yeah, no, like, I mean, the reason people gave me fucking the nickname Reverend was because when they would hear me go on about it, they would like, this is like, people would get that look in their eyes of like, oh my God, he's right. And, which was
I
probably
think you're full of shit.
was probably the worst thing that possibly could have happened was people just being like, oh my God, this delusional fucking 20-year-old psychopath is like, right. you know
That's too funny. This delusional 20-year-old psychopath. Well, I mean, like when you're 20, you're just pretty much a fucking idiot no matter what's going
yeah,
on.
no, I had this, I mean, my God, like I had this
My
entire
God. Great Scott.
no I had this entire fucking vision of the future and everything. Like, I'm actually supposed to be dead for 4 years at this point. um
Okay.
you
Okay,
know
that makes sense.
but that was supposed to be because I was assassinated, so like it was, it was the craziest fucking thing. But when you're like 20, you get those ideas in your head. Especially when you've
Yeah.
got like a group of girls who like want to sleep with you and tell you how brilliant you are at all times. You know,
Well, I'm really happy I didn't know you then because I would have lit you on fire or actually crucified you.
that would have been a bad idea. That I think war would have actually murdered you.
No, it's crazy to think that they used to fucking crucify people. Like I just will never get over that.
I mean, if this shit happened today, I'm only wear just little fucking electric chair. No, they have needles for the lethal injection.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, but that's easier,
But
nicer.
so anyway, because of that, when they did the revival, I was going to actually audition. There was a revival in like the late 90s, and I was like, oh my God,
Hmm.
this is like, and I was going to audition to be pilot, but when I discovered that if I auditioned, I could no longer ever perform any parts of this outside of it,
Why?
because then that would make me a part of, that would be like me basically as a representative of them.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I declined because I was like, no. Um,
I'd rather not do this musical than have the part that's perfect for me.
yes, exactly. It was, but yeah, I was going to audition for pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like, Pilate is just one of the most fascinating characters. I mean,
Yeah.
like, in the Bible and also in this
Yeah.
rendition of this musical.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing with Judas is, I mean, I could do all those songs, and boy, would that be fun to actually do Jesus Christ Superstar.
Hmm.
But I don't know if I just want to like wear a weird disco outfit and look upset the whole time.
I really, yeah, because you'd
you
be
know,
so happy. You'd be so happy in the weird disco outfit. That's why you'd be
you know.
upset. You'd be like, I'm supposed to be unhappy, but this is the greatest time of my fucking life.
It's funny. I'm looking at so when they first were going to make it into a movie, I mean Ted Neely was doing the Broadway version.
Hmm.
But originally, and I also, not to insult him or whatever, but I had never noticed that he had an eye thing going on,
Yeah, a slight astigmatism. Yes,
where his
a
eye kind
little
of
lady.
goes in different. Yeah, I didn't. It's very prominent in some scenes. In some scenes, it's not noticeable at all.
It's interesting because the scenes where you notice it, like looking beyond that, his eyes in those shots, because I know exactly what you're talking about. His eyes in those shots are so beautiful.
Hmm.
When you can see it is when it's just like that is a man where eyeliner works for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically but they also talked about a few people, I don't know how many of these you've heard, who they considered to play Jesus in it.
I probably
Mick
blocked that out.
Mick Jagger, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Barry Gibb, who I don't actually know who Barry Gibb is.
I
Um
do, but I
who
mean, I
is
could
he?
scream for my mother, but it's the middle of the night. I mean,
Who,
I no, she'd have to remind me.
oh, okay. Robert Plant, Mickey
Wow,
Dolenz, David Cassidy, and
I
they
would
had
love to see
actually
Robert Plant play
and
Jesus.
they had actually decided on Ian Gillan,
Really?
and he realized that he would make more money still doing Deep Purple than this, so he did Deep
Yeah.
Purple.
Dang.
But yeah, they were gonna go with Ian Gillan.
Well, I'm glad they gave it to the Broadway people because Broadway people are the best actors.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
said it.
Also, so you and I, we made a little notes, and we'll talk about this a lot because it's in my notes so many times. But so Larry Marshall plays Simon,
Hmm.
and I would said that he has way too much energy for how fucking much like is going on here. He has more energy than everybody else in this entire fucking film.
Yeah, and I wrote that he's like a crackhead.
Yeah, well, apparently the reason why he looked so bad was because it was 105-degree weather,
That makes sense.
and he was about to like die of heat stroke, basically, which is
Oh,
why he looks all cracked out because he was in really poor health.
I guess here's the question that's on everyone's mind: who was ADR'd or lip synced, and who wasn't? Because it looks like Carl Anderson wasn't
I
as
think,
Judas.
I think everybody was ADR,
Well, then
but
some of them are fantastic at it because you can't tell with Judas ever
yeah,
once.
because with like
They didn't do
music.
live musicals like that then.
No, no,
Yeah.
this wasn't a live performance. This was,
Hmm.
in fact, literally the only time you ever see any of the instruments is during King Herod's song.
Yes, that's true.
You
That is
know,
true. Well, yeah, no, totally, but they could be off camera. It's just
actually,
that Carl
actually,
Anderson was so good.
King Herod is not the original Broadway King Herod, though.
Okay.
The original King Herod was Ben Vereen, actually,
Okay.
and he played him as a very flamboyant drag queen,
Well, that's pretty brilliant.
which kind of, I mean, it's you know, they are kind of one step away from that with this very gay coded King Herod here.
Yeah, surrounded by like the most flamboyant men and women I've ever seen in my life, and it's fucking brilliant. There's one shot, man, where he's up and dancing with everyone right before like the big number or dance
Mm-hmm.
break, and there's this guy, one of the guys with the wig afro, and it's a white dude, and he has the biggest nose I've ever seen, these giant glasses, and he's like doing Night at the Roxbury,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a side profile directly in front of Herod's dick, and it's fucking hilarious.
I just loved when I just suddenly noticed that there's two random guys holding women upside down with their vaginas right in their faces.
Yes.
Like in the
Hmm.
background.
Hmm.
So
My favorite thing that I noticed about King Herod's song that I've never noticed before, um, and this is when they like do the slow zoom away towards the end, like the
mhm,
end of the, I guess the bridge of the big dance number
yeah.
when he's taking them out,
When he's
and
throwing
there's
bagels
everyone's.
at him.
Oh, before that, yes, I love that it's bagels. So funny. But the everyone's doing the same dance moves except for the person at the piano, and then there's a woman, and it's very far away. This zoom at this point overhead,
Yeah.
and there's one woman sitting on the piano, and it's like she's bopping along to the music, and I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but it's like the actor or the character just was like in her own world, bopping on top of the piano, missed her cue, and then went, "Oh shit," and ran down to join everyone, and it made me so happy. The best thing about this musical is everything, but it's such an ensemble show
Yeah.
that is like when I first did it, I was a part of the ensemble, and it was my solo was. But I saw you too. It looked just like you when Peter denied the third person that Peter denies Jesus to. That was my solo.
Yeah.
And the first time, and yeah, it's just I felt as important as everyone else because
Yeah.
it's such an ensemble show.
Yeah.
It's amazing and devastating. Like I cried a lot watching this.
So I it just made me realize a big thing before we go into it because you and I are both kind of well you know I said we talked about last week that you kind of believe every religion and definitely I don't even call myself a lapsed Catholic. I'm like an ex-Catholic,
Hmm.
but I used to be able to name all 12 apostles.
Yeah,
Can you?
probably.
Okay.
Um, fuck, mom.
Fuck is not one of them.
Yes, it is. So we have. Well,
Fuck the
I always
apostle.
consider. No, always hope that I be an apostle. I consider it 13 apostles because I think that Mary Magdalene was the first apostle, and her
Okay.
Gnostic gospel talks about it.
Yeah.
So we got
I know that
Judas,
yeah.
Peter, Simon, Paul, Peter Piper.
Peter Piper. Did he
Peter
peck a pack of
Simon.
pickled peppers?
Yes, and then he rubbed some myrrh on his dick and got
Hmm.
really, really, really sick.
Yeah.
The,
All right, so
um,
say them slowly. Say them slowly so
okay.
I can because I have the list in front of me because I didn't remember them all.
Okay,
Okay.
we have Judas, we have Peter, we have Paul, we
Hmm.
have John, we have Little John, Young John. No, Little John is Robin Hood. Young
Yeah.
John, we have Matthew, we have Bartholomew. Um, fuck, we have. I know them. Did I say Simon already?
Yes.
Mom. My mother is also an apostle. God, I wasn't prepared for this. I used to know all of them. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come
All
on,
right.
come on.
We'll go another 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Yes, because we can't spend the whole episode with us like remembering who the apostles are.
Why don't I just like, if I think of other ones throughout the episode, I'll just spit them out.
I'll just say them now. So there was
I
Simon
don't
who
want
was
to know.
there was Simon
Finally,
who
our
was
fans want to
also
know.
who there was Simon there were actually two Simons, one of which was called Peter, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other one was Simon the Canaanite.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, Judas, and Jude.
I don't know Jude. I know Jude is a saint.
Yeah,
But that makes sense because he was an apostle.
yeah,
See, bad Catholic, bad Catholic.
he was also known as Thaddeus in some
Oh,
translations.
Thaddeus!
Yes.
Thaddeus! It's Thaddeus and Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the credits, they say Thaddeus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I had actually and a lot of people when they think of the Gospels think of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but are unaware that Mark was not an apostle. Mark was a follower of Peter.
Yes.
So Mark was after Jesus was like, go out and spread my message, everybody.
And also, the New Testament wasn't written by the apostles; it was written by white men a couple hundred years later.
Yes. Yes. So, if we really, one of the things I do like about this is that it kind of, we don't see Jesus performing miracles. We don't see, a lot of the
He's just
more
a man.
Yeah, we don't see the more supernatural aspects of it. It always, because I looked at it as, I've always thought of it like this, that like you take very primitive people and you have a dissident, rebel leader like Yeshua, and people back then, because they were primitive people, would give fucking supernatural attributes to this person.
Yeah, I think that none of this was Jesus's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Except for I think that he had undiagnosed mental disorders. And, well, at least BPD.
See, I'd be willing to bet that at no point did
Sorry, God.
Yeshua. I would be willing to bet at no point did Yeshua ever call himself the Son of God.
No, I doubt that. No,
and
that
I
would
think,
not happen.
and I think people just were so expecting the Messiah already that they just gave all those attributes to him.
Yeah, those are your words, not mine. It's you who say I am. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what happened. So let's go into the film, which was shot on location.
Yeah, where?
In,
I don't know.
The West Bank, for the most part.
Which? Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was right after the 6-Day War too. So they talked about there were some times where they were like Palestinians with guns, like when they were shooting.
They shot it in the West Bank. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, in fact, they said that there was one point where there was a skirmish where they lost their entire like fucking electrical crew because everyone, is part of the reserve. And so they were called to go fucking fight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they lost their whole crew in the middle of shooting,
Don't hire local when you have a war.
Pretty much. It's always, and honestly, it's kind of a good rule to just not go to a war zone. It's always been my rule.
Yes, totally, totally. I have friends who are like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know how, but God bless them. Or Jesus Christ Superstar bless them. Yes, my mind is clearer now. Yeah. So so we have the best overture of all time.
Yeah,
is what happens first.
So
and we see a bus of hippies.
Yeah,
there's lots of desert.
So we see all these like. Here's the thing that's always kind of crazy. Whenever we see like movies that take place in ye olden times in like Israel and all that, they all still look like things look like now. And I always wonder what they really looked like when they were new, when they weren't ruins, like, because you see like all these movies in ancient Greece and none of them ever like really capture what ancient Greece was like. I mean, the fact that like the statues were colorful back then.
Yeah.
And it's just with the, thousands of years, the paint is gone. So I wonder like how many inaccuracies do we have? Not in this, because this just kind of,
well, how about the biggest elephant in the room that everyone knows? Jesus wasn't white. There you go. Inaccuracy number one.
Yeah. But even I'm not even just talking about this particular film, but like any sort of thing that takes place.
You hardly ever, except for the Mummy, does it right. And the Mummy does it right, and Night at the Museum does it right.
Yeah.
And they have everything in color. Yeah.
So
it's hard to think about.
I always wonder, like, what, like, Galilee or Israel, Jerusalem or anything that look like when they were, like, new. Like how different were they from? Because now we just see them kind of beaten down for thousands of years, and so I wonder what they look like when they were like all fresh and everyone like, ooh, look at how cool this place is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would like to think that it would look like my apartment, which is just full of color. I'd be like, I want to live here. Like, you know what
Probably
I mean?
less posters of you though.
Probably.
Yeah.
You don't know though.
Yeah. So
Past life, Chelsea.
or posters of me, and then I actually was right to have my weird Messiah complex in my 20s.
I do not have a Messiah complex. I've been on posters for things, and they're in my apartment.
Yeah, isn't it funny that now that I have been on posters, I don't have one anymore? But when I wasn't, I did.
Makes sense. It
Yeah,
makes sense
although
somehow.
in fairness, back in my 20s, we just didn't know any place that would print them. Otherwise, we probably would have had all sorts of very Stalin-esque posters of me all
I
over.
remember there was one guy I dated for a while, and and he had this giant poster, like poster size. What's that? Like 36 by whatever of
48, yeah.
himself with his arms up like this, shirtless, and he wasn't a small man,
Mhm.
and up like this. And I gave him so much shit for it because I was like, why the fuck would you have that next to your bed? Like, what's wrong with you? And now I have
Mhm.
pictures of me everywhere. I'm
Mm.
like, I should apologize to him, but I'm afraid he'll kill me.
Hey, it could be fun. I mean, it could be worse. I was literally I remember when I was a teenager, um, and getting it on with a certain girl, who had a mirror, and her literally said, Charles, I'm down here. Because
Yeah,
I was just looking at how great I looked during it.
that's awful, Charles. That's really bad.
I was like posing for myself and everything. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like everybody's done that, but nobody, and not everybody says that on air.
Yeah. Whatever. This is teenage Charles is kind of a dick.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I've heard. I've
yes.
heard.
Yes, as
I'm
opposed to me
very thankful
now,
I didn't know him. Yes,
who is just a pillar of joy, and I give to the community.
yes, that's
Yes.
you.
Yes.
To
So
the community.
yeah, so we see a tour bus full of hippies, and it's the cast as the overture's playing.
Yeah, that's so great because they're so self-aware that they're not actually in biblical times and that they're going to visit a ruined site and put
Hmm.
on this play as a
Yeah,
movie.
and
Yeah.
unfortunately, they are not provided a locker. They're not provided a dressing room. It's just go get changed in the desert.
Yeah, there's no
You know?
bathroom, there's no
Yeah.
nothing, but they have a piano.
Yes. And
A
I mean,
couple of things that I noticed this time before I forget about them that I really
mhm.
loved, and we'll get there. Little things that like Bibba Chelsea didn't notice were then down my hall, cluttering up my hallway, and the hallway is like the ruin, and it's not a hallway at all; it's a path. I
There,
loved that
yeah.
because he's on a path; it's not a hallway. And then the walk across my swimming pool, and it's not a pool. Like I never even noticed that. I love it.
There were a bunch of lines like that in this where it's like,
Yeah, totally. But I didn't notice them back then because I'm
where
so worried about learning them.
yeah, like Jesus is manacled and beaten, and he looks pretty fine.
Yeah, like
You
when
know?
Judas says that, I'm like, they
Yeah,
haven't touched him yet,
yeah.
boy. Where have
Like
you been? Oh,
like
selling him away? Got it.
yeah, like Judas
Not
is
taking responsibility?
yeah, I don't know if Judas just briefly stepped out of this film and went into the Passion of the Christ or something,
He did.
but you know,
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
or as I like to call it, Jesus just gets his ass kicked for 3 hours and it's your fault.
Yeah, I remember when that came out, I wasn't allowed to watch it naturally, so because
Yeah,
I was a good Christian girl still at that point, and
yeah.
I remember first watching it and being like, "Mom, you were right. I shouldn't watch that." And then I bought it on DVD.
Yeah. Did you
I still
know?
have
Did you
it.
know that that used to have the record for the highest grossing R-rated film until
Wow.
last week,
Oh,
where Deadpool and Wolverine actually surpassed it
that's crazy. That's
as the
Passion of the
highest.
Christ.
Yep, as the highest grossing R-rated film in history. Yeah. Well, whole like evangelical schools were, excuse me, sending all of their students to see it. It was like required for some of them.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
now when the teacher in elementary schools across the world, when they don't feel like teaching, they'll wheel in that TV and play Passion of the Christ
there
because
you
the
go.
church and state are no longer separate.
Pretty much. Pretty much. So they're raising the cross. We see Disco. I've referred to him just as Disco Judas because
See, I would have thought of something clever like that, but it was another word I had to write, so I didn't.
yeah, yeah. And while they're all like doing all this shit, Judas is kind of like fuck all this shit.
Yeah, he's like, wait, I'm really I'm super sus about what's going on right now. Like, this is not okay. Do you know what the fuck is going on? You're brainwashing these people a little bit. Are you doing
Yeah,
okay, buddy, old pal? I don't
yeah.
trust you anymore.
Yeah, I'm watching this, and the first thought I had, and this is why I said this will be mentioned many times. First thought I had is, I don't know if you could pay me to do all this active fucking dancing and shit in the middle of a desert.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I mean, they probably weren't paid very much at all.
Yeah,
But it's Jesus Christ Superstar. It was already the biggest fucking hit in the world, you know?
yeah,
Like, I would do it. I would do it. I would do
yeah,
it. I mean, I'd break all my bones, but I'd
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
My
I don't.
my mother throughout the film kept going, if you tried that, you break something. If you tried that, you break something.
I mean that is kind of your
Exactly.
thing.
This is
Um,
my thing.
so, um, but yeah, I just looked and I'm like, this would be too hot for me to do any of these things. Like I have written stuff where I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if I wrote this scene in a desert, and I'm like, no, that means we have to go to an actual desert. So, all right, no.
Yes. Find like the sandiest beach that has the lowest tide in New England.
The funniest thing about it is like, as much as I wouldn't want to be in a desert for like most things where I'm active, if you put me in like a Mad Max film, I would do it because then I'm just in a car. Or I'm like on top of the car or something.
I would do it for JCS or for Mad Max. I mean, I'd bitch and moan the entire time. But one of my biggest dreams is to spend time in Egypt, which is like not safe for women at all. But
Yeah.
but like it's like things that you're really passionate about. You'll do things that you don't want to.
Yeah, like I would even and as far as the Mad Max, I love the Mad Max thing so much. I would be the fucking guy with his face completely covered playing guitar on the front of the fucking
Yeah,
like truck. I would do that because I fucking
yeah.
just love the Mad. We know with the fucking flamethrower at the end of the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well, that's
I
the best
would.
part in the movie. Well, that's a part that you don't forget about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I would do I would love to be like a fucking character, but I would even do one of those things where I'm just like, the weird dude in the fucking chaps and thong with like a fucking chainsaw or something.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so yeah, so we see Euro Jesus. And we see guys in black with giant like hats.
Oh
Um,
wait, this is my favorite mother. No, I'm gonna keep saying this is my favorite mother quote. Oh well, no, we missed the fact that when Heaven on Their Mind starts, right?
uh-huh.
And they have there's so many like slow zooms in and out and all this stuff, which is amazing. But
Well, we haven't even gotten to Heaven on Their Mind yet.
oh, we
Because
already saw the. Oh, okay,
yeah, because we
okay,
see
yep.
the Pharisees right before the Jesus Christ Superstar logo.
Oh yeah, my mom said they had butt plugs on their heads.
I mean, I can't really
Isn't that
disagree with her on that.
she went from planters for pots for plants to butt
Yeah.
plugs.
I mean, that's really what they kind of looks like. It kind of looks like a mixture of like guys with like black chef hats and butt plugs.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
yeah.
My mom was like, "Don't quote me on that." I was like, "I'm going to."
Yeah. So here's where we see Heaven on Their Mind, where Jesus is hanging with his followers.
Oh yeah, Heaven on Their Mind starts with as my mom said, Judas has a rock up his ass because he's on the pointiest rock on the planet. Like the director is a fucking sadist. That's what I have to say about it. No, he's wonderful. I don't remember his name, Norman something. But
Jewison.
the Jewison. Oh yeah, I was like, it's amazing. but he's got a point. When you go, like, actually, I want that to enter your sphincter just the tiniest bit. That rock, go and sit on that one. Like, it was such a pointy rock, and I've never noticed it before. This is important information,
Yeah.
okay? Yes, and we see that, oh no, we're past that now. God damn it, Chelsea. I'm sorry, God. I mean,
Yeah. So
Ted.
yeah, so I'll say at this point, Judas has questions. He's basically
Yes.
like, Jesus doesn't appreciate him. There's no,
Do you
back in
really
the
believe in God
day,
and all this shit?
yeah, back in the day,
Yeah.
we didn't talk about God.
Yeah.
We called you a man. My admiration for you hasn't died. And listen, all these people who love you, if they think you lie, they're gonna fuck you up. You
Yeah,
know?
totally. And so my autocorrect on my notes app on my laptop, obviously I'm writing down the lyrics as I know
Yeah,
them by heart, all of them. You've begun to matter much more than the things you, whatever that line is. You've begun to matter more than the things you say.
yeah,
You began tomatoes more than the things you say.
yes. That is actually the real line. That's the original one. They changed it for the movie version. So, and he's basically, it kind of sets the premise here that Judas is worried that Jesus is
Yeah, he's
drawing
like,
so much attention to them that the Romans are going to be like, hey,
hey,
cut
this is
that
not
out.
okay. And then you fuck up like one wrong move, you're all dead. Yeah,
And it's really
you're all
funny,
down.
too, when you really think about it. If you think about how the fact that all the Pharisees and all them are all like, oh shit, he's going to get us in trouble with the Romans, blah, 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 blah. Then when the Romans meet him, they're all just kind of really unimpressed and like,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll like lock him away or something, but why should we kill him? He's not that bad.
He's not that
you know,
bad. The
like
most devastating fucking line in the whole thing is "you innocent puppet."
mhm.
It really is.
I watched this for the first time with subtitles, and for the longest time when he says "you misguided mother," that part,
Yeah.
when I first heard, I thought "mother" is what he said. So because
Wow,
but
that
it's
changes your perspective on things.
but
Absolutely.
but you know what I mean? It factors in, like, it's like, oh, it's the 70s. Like someone would say like mother, like it like as short for motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's what I always thought it was in my 20s.
I
That's
do
what that
love
line
also
was.
I didn't make a note of this, but should mention it now. During that same song, he says Jesus Christ as if we say it like like an exclamation.
Yeah.
Like I love that Pilate does that. He goes, Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love
Yeah.
it. I
So
love it.
at this point we get a shot of the village people, or I'm sorry, they're supposed to be the Romans, with their shiny silver helmets,
I
purple
was like,
tank
how are
tops,
they the village?
and green
Yeah.
khakis. um,
It's amazing that like they chose to put the Roman guard in that wardrobe, but still had the budget for tanks and fighter jets
yes.
that are completely unnecessary,
In
especially for a troupe
fairness,
of actors who were going to the desert to put on a performance.
because this was like directly after a war, the tanks and fighter jets were probably there and were probably being flown by the crew. If you think about it,
Oh shit! I
they were
didn't think
probably
about that.
they
No,
were probably like, "Hey, I fucking drive a tank. Do you want me to get like
I didn't
four of my
know there was
boys?"
like no one
Yeah,
crucified me, no pun intended. But like I had no idea there was a war right before that. I had no clue.
yeah, the 6 Day War with which basically is where I believe they took the West Bank. Yeah,
Okay, that makes
yeah.
sense. That makes sense.
So we see under them there's a happening, and people are asking Jesus,
What's
"What's
the
the
buzz
buzz?"
about
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
You
and
want to know
there's
what's funny is that my mother and I just went and did the whole song. A whole song. And she was Jesus, I was Judas. Well, no, it wasn't the whole song, but like
yeah.
but in front of Errol, and Errol was like, "What the fuck is
Well,
going
he shouldn't have
on?"
said what the fuck. He should have said, "What's the buzz? Tell me what's
You should have
happening."
said, "What's the buzz?"
you know.
I wouldn't
So,
watch that.
so they seem very annoying to Jesus. They,
It's just like this man just needs a fucking. And I have to say, like I was helping a little bit with the lecture that was going on, but I just got a free day pass to a fucking the best spa I've ever been to in my life today, and I needed it so badly. You know how bad I needed it, and
Yeah.
I got the best massage. I got a Thai massage for the first time in my life. Blew
Hmm.
my mind. This was relevant somehow. Oh, no, Jesus just needs a break. Jesus needs what I had today.
I mean, Mary tries during
If
during
we try, we'll get
yeah,
by.
so all this is going, they're like, when are we gonna ride on Jerusalem? And he's like, kind of, why are you all obsessed with fighting? And fights you can't deny. So if you knew the path we're riding, you'd understand it less than I. And so Mary Magdalene comes in, she starts giving him a face cooling,
Puts myrrh
and
on his forehead. I need to Google what myrrh
yeah,
actually does to your face.
I just know. And then Judas wanders in, and he kind of gives him the look he gives him is that, like, I told you not to have any parties, Jesus. That's the
Yeah.
look that he fucking
Like
gives.
the star, one of the like huge, never, of course, Judas is a star, but his fucking side eye to
Hmm.
Jesus throughout this film and how it amplifies is comparable
Yeah.
to Gert's side eye. Like, it is so good. It is so well done.
So now,
Oh, you know I'm talking about you now. You're awake.
there
Don't
you
get
go.
skaggy. Okay, yeah.
There you go. So now we have the part where Quentin Tarantino gets a boner because Mary Magdalene starts washing Jesus's feet. And Judas wants to know why he wastes his time on a sex worker, pretty much. He's like, Judas is real fucking real fucking judgy.
What's interesting though, here's the paradox. And I love that Judas is all about like making sure that the poor are fed, and
Yeah.
they're wasting and everything's all right, right? Which is the next song that she's like wasting all this ointment when we could be helping the poor. Well, she is the poor. She's a sex worker during those times.
Yeah.
Like Judas, shut the fuck up. Like, it's fine. But yeah, no, he is not happy about Mary Magdalene,
Yeah.
and Jesus defends her, and I really, really love that. I
Yeah.
do. It's not appropriate for the times or even the 70s if we're talking about the troupe of actors, but I would love it if Mary Magdalene just like comes out first and like defends herself.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
would be a
that
whole
would
other musical.
that would probably get her stoned back then if a woman tried speaking up for herself like that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So we now see the Pharisees. We see Annas and Caiaphas.
No, now we see Gert.
There you go.
I just think you should just see how cute she
Uh,
looks. I hope you can see it.
One thing I'll say for you, Jesus is cool.
Jesus is cool.
So this song was not in the original play.
I know.
And
but
I heard a lot
after
of
this it was.
I heard a lot of them don't. Some versions don't have it.
Oh, when I've done it we have.
Yeah.
But
There's two
a lot of
songs.
musicals do that where
Yeah.
they will include it or not include it.
Yeah, there's two songs that had parts from the movie put into the play afterwards. Later on, one of Pilot's stuff came from the movie.
Yeah.
But this was actually put in there because the original version of Jesus Christ Superstar, people accused it of being anti-Semitic. Because
wow.
because and it's honestly it's a thing that people even said about the Passion of the Christ, is that the fact that it is like the Jewish, the Israelites who actually do choose to crucify him. So they added this to show at least why Caiaphas and the other like Jewish leaders were going to crucify him. It wasn't just that they were like evil, that it was that they were worried about the Romans.
Could we? Yeah, that makes sense. We also have to give a like silver medal. We have to give a silver medal as far as side eye. The event of side eyes has to go to the side eyes that Caiaphas and Annas give each other throughout the entire film. It's and I love that they cut away to those.
Yeah.
It makes me. It's such a little nugget, but I love their relationship so much.
Yeah.
I really do. And Caiaphas is they're both so funny in such different ways. And you
Mhm.
can like Annis's voice can be the most annoying thing in the world, but if you understand the like trope behind it,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
What do we do about Jesus mania?
What? Yeah.
And then
What? No, it's
Caiaphas
what
with
do
the
we do
yeah.
in this? Yeah, it's
One
crazy.
thing I'll say, and the weird like ultra deep Caiaphas voice. One thing I'll
Yeah,
say
you've
for
got an
him,
alto and a
Jesus.
bass like in the same
You
thing. It's
know,
amazing. It's
fool,
amazing.
you have no perception. You know, like
Yeah, it was so funny because my mother was and she's sitting right next to me on this bed while we watched it. The we both know it so well that it was basically a sing along, like
yeah.
every single word.
I sang along. I sang along during the pilot stuff.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah. You
good.
have been there. Well, on the set of Demon Hunter, where me and it was the first time we met one of our future people.
Mm-hmm.
Where that on my birthday, where we were
Yeah.
just like we were just singing all these like we were singing like fucking Cell Block Tango from Chicago. We're
Mm-hmm.
I was singing fucking from this.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
it was amazing the amount of fucking musical theater that was going on like behind the scenes of like a CL squared shoot.
Yeah. Well, musical theater really just at the core of everything. What was that a fart or a yawn, kids? Who was that? Who did that?
Probably
Like
Gert.
I'm really concerned.
It's probably Gert.
Oh, it's
I've
definitely Kurt.
I've been around them long enough to know if one of them's farting, it's Gert.
She just pooped twice in one walk too, like an hour ago.
Yeah, oh well.
I don't remember what I was saying. It's just that was
Yeah.
distracting. Anyway, I wrote
So
Judas is like what the fuck. He's increasingly more like what the fuck. Oh,
yeah.
and then we get it seems to me a strange thing mystifying. Is that where we are?
No,
See,
we're
this
about
is
to
one
go
of
where
those.
everything is all right. Everything is all
Oh,
right
I thought we
now.
were already there.
Nope, nope, nope.
But so everything's all right is one of the greatest songs ever written, but it goes on a little too long in this movie.
Yeah.
It goes on forever, and it's also the exact opposite of what you want to do for someone who has anxiety about themselves and about what their responsibilities are. Is
Hmm.
crowd them saying everything's all right with all your hands all around them.
Yeah.
Like this man is not well. You need to back the fuck up. Yeah, close your eyes. Stop singing in his face about it when you think about it. Like just you are doing the wrong thing. But it
So
is one of the greatest songs ever written, and it's done well.
do you want to know what's crazy is I actually before I ever saw Jesus Christ Superstar, I had actually heard a cover of Everything's All Right where
Oh,
Sandra Bernhardt com-
mm-hmm,
did a song called Manic Superstar,
mm-hmm.
where she combined Manic Depression from Jimi Hendrix and Everything's All Right from Jesus Christ
Oh, it's a
Superstar.
great song. No, it's
Yeah,
great.
and it's such a cool mixture of those two songs. So I'd actually heard her version before I
Yeah,
ever heard any of the official versions.
I mean, like I had heard several. That's what you know. How you know that something's a hit. I think everything's all right was on like the fucking Billboard charts. Fact
Yeah.
check me,
Yes,
but
it
it was
was.
so. There we
It
go.
was. It was actually a hit in like 1970 or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
like, but so many of these songs I had heard before I'd seen the musical or done the
Yeah.
musical. Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant. So this is great, and
And
but
then, of course, Judas has to be a killjoy. Because, you know,
yeah, yeah. No, this is when he's just shit talking Mary to her face, and I'm
yeah.
like, this is like, if you think about nowadays, or even if they were like, if these troupe of actors getting off of the bus played JCS, but in the 70s, you can't get away with talking to a woman like that, even in the 70s. Like, or
Yeah.
but I'm like, Judith, what are you? You're fucking up, man. You really are. And you know what I never noticed before that I noticed this go around is that his belt is the rope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never noticed that ever, ever.
Yeah. So
Very
Jesus
fascinating.
is getting his spa treatment while Judas is just kind of like, I can't believe you, dude. Just kind of giving him that like, what the
Like, man,
fuck, bro?
what is going on? I also never realized how small. And I met Ted Neely once.
Uh-huh.
Like the at a revival with. I met him. He was with James Rado at the 2014 revival of Hair
Hmm.
on Broadway, and I met Ted Neely and James Rado at the same time.
Mm.
And Ted Neely was such a small man.
Mm.
And I didn't really think about that, or I forgot about it until seeing this. And there's one shot of him and Judas later on where it was like, that is a tiny, tiny actor. That is Tom Cruise of a Jesus.
So, do
Don't
we
tell Tom Cruise
know?
I said that.
Do we know
Science policy.
how? Do we know how tall Jesus was supposed to have been?
No,
Mm. He was four
no idea.
cubits tall.
Yes, I'm like,
I don't know
since
how.
he died at 33. Since he died at 33,
Yeah,
I'm like, he's 33 inches tall.
yeah. I'm gonna say he was 4 cubits. I don't know how much a cubit is. For all I know, I just made him bigger than the ark. Um, so
That's really funny. That's another funny thing my mom said. She was
hold
just
on.
like,
Tell that story. I'm gonna look up how
oh,
big a cubit is.
okay. My mother was just like, oh, careful, careful. You got the butt plugs, and then the Ewoks are in the desert. No, no, I'm just kidding. I know the Ewoks are in the forest. I'm from. It made me laugh so bad.
How big is 4 cubits? That wow. I am amazing. That is exactly 6 feet.
Wow.
There you go. I am pretty much an expert on Stonehenge measurement systems then. So there we go. So we go to the Pharisees climbing up to a rector set because they're going to have a meeting. And
And they're gonna bang their rings on scaffolding for
yep,
quite some time.
yep. We see
And
they're
it's really funny.
yeah, and they're discussing Jesus and how he's dangerous. He is
What do we do?
dangerous.
Dangerous.
And at this moment, Jesus just happens to be walking by them at this moment. It
And
appears
he
to be
looks up
Palm
like, what the
Sunday
fuck,
or
man?
something.
Well, Palm Sunday was invented with Jesus. So, yes.
Uh, Chelsea, yeah, do you think the Pharisees were actually really singing? Like, this is kind of.
I know. It's so many things where I'm like, haha, that's a New Testament reference.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's so brilliant. Andrew Lloyd Webber is a fucking master of chaos, and I love him more than most things in the world. I really do.
Because of one man.
Because
I also wrote that I also calling Caiaphas Chef Russell Brand.
That's funny.
Yeah.
No, he reminded me of. Oh my god, no, he actually reminds me. He looks exactly like another actor that I know. That's
Mm,
what it was, and he has
mm,
Messiah complex, which is funny.
yeah. Mm,
Yes, but he wasn't. He's not 20. He's in his late 40s.
yeah. Yeah. So now we go
Not who you
to.
think. Not who you're thinking.
Oh, okay. Is he part of a theater troupe that we know?
No, but that's
Okay.
also a good guess. No, he
Okay.
literally looks like him.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
He looks like him.
So now we go to Hosanna, hey, Zana, 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 hey.
You're a
Zana,
hoe.
Hosanna, Hosanna, hey, JC, won't you? And yes, we had actually had a version of that in one of our songs where we,
Sorry, I don't blame you.
changed it to Hey Charlie, won't you smile at me? Um,
Oh my god.
yeah, no, it was a full-on fucking
The more you tell
delusion.
me about this, it's not a good idea. No, so yeah, Hosanna is a great song.
Tell the
It speaks of
rabble
what I
to
love.
be quiet. We
Quiet, we
anticipate a
anticipate a
riot.
riot this coming. All is
Can you
way too
imagine?
loud.
The part I love is tell your mob who sing your song that they are fools
They're
and they
fools
are
and they
wrong.
are wrong.
They are
They are
accursed.
cursed.
They should
They're so
disperse. Can you
dispersed.
imagine if Jesus was like, "You're all fools and you're wrong"? Like,
Everything and like this is what they don't talk about a lot is heresy in this, and they should
yes.
because there's so much of it. It's
Mhm.
absolutely I mean, it makes sense, and it also I don't. I have a lot. I'll save those for later.
Yeah.
I'll
So
save those for later.
Jesus kind of tells him, "Chill, bro." And because if everyone's
But did you see how he fucking looked at him though?
yeah.
He looked at Caiaphas like, I'm gonna kill you,
Because he's like, if every voice were quiet, the rocks and stones themselves would start to sing.
And I was just like, okay, does he have narcissistic personality disorder? Like he thinks
Yes.
like the what I love too about this, and going along with the whole there's no supernatural elements that we see,
Mhm.
you know, where you start to question his mental sanity when you in Gethsemane when he's singing to a cloud on a
Yeah.
green screen. Like the to no
That
avail.
wasn't on a green screen.
No?
No, that was him out in the fucking
The color correction was really good.
yeah.
Because I call bullshit.
Yeah.
But the fuck, now I lost my fucking
Yeah, no,
thought.
I
I'm
was even
sorry.
reading about how in one scene they actually spent like 2 days cleaning out bat and bird shit from one area to have him go in there. And and apparently a lot of shots were not planned shots. They were what looks good at this moment.
Well, we have no idea what that's like.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like a lot of it was like, oh shit, the lighting is perfect. Let's shoot that scene right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which would explain why some of it does look like that. Because it was probably like, oh shit, do you see what this looks like?
No, but
Jesus.
he's talking to this. He's
Yeah.
talking to this guy, and you start to
Yeah.
question him, like his mental sanity. What's funny is that you don't, because it's the story of Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
and he's Jesus Christ. So it's like you don't. There's this guise where you don't even necessarily start to question things the way you normally would if it was any other fucking story
Yeah.
about a different person.
Yeah. Yeah. So at this point, Caiaphas, body rocker that he is watching this shit. And as the people start asking Jesus Christ, would you die for me? Which does give Jesus pause.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, oh, wait a minute, guys. You know,
What song are you on? Because there is no spoken dialogue without music in this. This is one of the only rock operas
yeah.
ever that does not have any lines
Yeah.
without music.
Yeah, well, we're going to where there's desert and lots of desert
Well,
B-roll.
no, I asked what song because everything is brought out into songs
Uh,
with this musical for me.
touch me, Jesus. I want to be dirty. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Raw.
It's funny. It's funny. I had this thought. I had this thought earlier that, like, the tropes of things like Frankenfurter
yeah,
or like Riff Raff. It's very similar to like the tropes of I mean, never mind Jesus and Judas, but it's like
yeah,
of Pilate and Herod, where they figured out what works.
yeah,
Don't fuck it up and change it.
yeah,
Like it's best to just like Herod should be like that. It's perfect. Like Frankenfurter should be like that. It's perfect.
yeah, yeah. So we cut to a bunch of hippies doing cartwheels, which
So many cartwheels.
yeah, which I do distinctly, which also, of course, fits in with 1 Corinthians 13, 3 and verse 9, which was, and though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, nor seek its own. It is
Puffed
not
up? What
provoked.
version of the Bible are you on?
Think the King James thinks no
Oh
evil,
well, don't read
does
that
not
one.
rejoice in iniquity, but
Read the
rejoices in
King
truth.
James. Don't do
Because
not
it fits
ever
in with
read
the goddamn thing.
Bible to me.
Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away.
I'm gonna hang up.
For we know in part and we prophecy in part, and the biggest part of prophecy are cartwheels. All right, so this is now a song
God,
about
that's over.
kissing Jesus' ass. People applauded though. They did.
It's all about yes. Oh fuck.
Because
Now there's gonna be booze because you were in control of the editing process.
Exactly. Chelsea is being a heretic.
I've been a heretic
Boo
my whole
her!
life.
Boo her! All right. You all can stop. You all can stop. All right. So now this is talking about people just kissing Jesus's ass
Because Jesus keeps making them feel like shit about like they're not doing enough for him.
yeah, that's the thing is, I was watching this and I'm like, if I acted like this, everyone would just think I was a prick. You
Yeah,
know?
it's like they're just like, no, I'm sorry, Jesus. And he's like, no, you don't believe in me. None of you could do this. And then the next song, he's like, any one of you, or it was the Last Supper song where he's like, any one of you could be like me. Like, is essentially what he's getting at a certain point. I forget the actual lyric.
Yeah.
I forgot a lyric in this. But the it's back and forth. That's why I'm like, he's got BPD, man. Like, there's
Yeah.
some shit going down.
Yeah. So like everyone's all sweaty, and the Simon actor is like screaming like he's having some sort of mental breakdown.
He is, and he's a very talented singer, but it's just very it never again like it never has stuck out to me as something like that. Like but today I was just like, Mom, Simon don't look so good.
Well, that's
And she
why
was
like
like, it was the 70s, we were all hippies. I was like that?
yeah. Well, I mean, I look and like Judas is like, fuck people. It's 120 degrees out. Why are you all dancing? Is the look that I imagine is why Judas has that look on his face. You
Yeah, well
know?
that makes sense.
Yeah. And so, and at this point they talk about how he's got 50,000 followers, and I'm like, I know I'm really bad at math. I'm good at a lot of things. Math is not one of them. But I could swear that looks more like 20 people instead of 50,000.
But it's interesting because I agree, but it's interesting because there's so many random moments where all of a sudden you're like, oh, now there's way more than 20 of them. I think, well, no, they said 50,000 throughout the land, not necessarily there.
Yeah.
But I would like to say this will
I
be
don't
my
know.
narcissistic moment for the night is that I have more followers than Jesus.
Well, there you go.
Sorry. Sorry.
See?
I'm sorry. I'm a good Catholic
Who's
woman.
the one with the Messiah complex now, Chelsea?
It's gone now. I have no idea what
Here
you're talking
here I
about.
am, a good Catholic boy, going and listening to the heresy that you were spewing, Miss
I
LeSage.
told my mother, I was like, I'm a good Catholic woman. She went, I'm not.
So
Awesome.
they all bow, and Jesus is kind of like, relax, bitches. And but he says, he's like, none of them understand what power or glory is. And Mary holds his hand because she's the one woman who actually understands him.
Yeah.
And Jesus says to conquer death, yeah, only have to die, where Simon gives him kind of a
Well,
look.
what's great, what Ted Neely does so well is those moments, those huge transitions in the music of where you can see, oh God, fucking my nipples, like it's the
You
how
can see your
great,
nipples? You were
yes,
not even conceived, Chelsea. I don't think that happened in the film.
I am omnipresent forever.
See?
But
See? Messiah complex. Chelsea has a Messiah complex. Not
yeah,
me. Not me at all. It's Chelsea.
you're just further proofing yourself wrong. Now you make me lose my train of thought. It was important. Oh no, how great Ted Neely does those moments in the songs where he realizes that he has to die. He's
Yeah.
so good at silently just changing his face.
Yeah.
And when those moments come, he's fucking brilliant at it. Sorry, YouTube. It's astounding. It's astounding. But Simon's on crack.
It's astounding. Is that because time is fleeting?
Go to bed. I go to bed.
I've
Go to
got
bed.
to lose control. So anyway,
What if there was a Rocky Horror JCS crossover?
oh man, that would be weird. I imagine fucking oh my god. See? Oh, by the
Who
way,
would you Amanda and
I have
Frankie?
to actually, okay, before we go on, since we talked about everything else under the sun, I have to bring up some corrections that Rocky Horror fans brought up to me that you and
Okay.
I did not comprehend. So here's the thing, and tell me if you've ever figured this out. Why Eddie is in fucking the cold storage freezer? So, you know why he has the scar on his forehead, right?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Neither did I until apparently, and it was more in the original play, it was clearer. Half of his brain was taken out and put in Rocky.
Oh, I knew that. I
Uh,
knew that. I just
yeah,
hadn't seen it in so long. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
what else did
yes,
we
but
fuck
you and
up?
I, you and I didn't talk about that last time. We We didn't
Oh, so it's
mention.
not something we did wrong.
Well, people were like they don't understand, and also that we had the misconception. Well, you had the misconception on this one. I didn't know about the brain. And that you thought that Frankenfurter made Riff Raff and Magenta. He did not.
Yeah.
They are
Okay.
fellow Transylvanians.
Okay. It's just very. I took that from context clues in the songs, you know,
Yeah. Well,
and it
that's the
made
thing. There's a
sense.
lot of things that like I don't think they made very
But
clear in the
that's
movie
cool. It's
version.
good.
Yeah.
It's good to learn things.
But yeah, people kind of were like, oh, like, oh my God, you guys didn't know that, blah 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 blah. So okay,
As
we
long as
talked
they're not
about it.
pissed, I don't care.
We talked about it. Okay, it's been corrected. You can
We've
stop
done the
writing
time
me.
warp again. We're talking about
Yes,
Rocky
you
Horror
can
again. You're
stop. You can
welcome.
stop writing me about that. Okay. Anyway, so back to
As if
Jesus
you have
Christ
a
Superstar.
massive influx of people upset about our Rocky Horror podcast.
It was literally like 7 fucking people, to me is 6 fucking emails too much
Yeah,
about
totally.
like this subject.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't let people email you. Like, if you don't know them, don't let them email you. That's my common thread.
you know. Well, you know me, Chelsea, I'm a man of the people, much like
Yeah,
Jesus.
and so people send an email.
You know, much
Man of the
like
people. Messiah complex.
much
Messiah
like
complex.
I don't have a messiah complex. So you have posters of yourself.
I do. I'm awesome.
Yeah. So anyway,
I've had successes and I should celebrate my own
yes.
fucking success.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I
So
really feel bad that I gave my ex shit about that. I am sorry, Arthur, wherever you are.
yeah, probably on the rocks. Anyway, so we
Love on
now
the
go
rocks.
to pilot, and he's basically walking around in the desert,
You
talking
gotta
about
give me a song.
his dream of
You don't know all the song titles, do you? Yes, you
I
do.
don't know any of the song titles. Yeah, I know the lyrics. I don't know the song titles.
Oh, see, I literally wrote everything under different song titles
Yeah,
because I
I don't
know it so
memorize
well.
song titles.
Well, it's because I did it. I guess
Yeah.
that's why. Um,
So, but I will say, as much as I really like Pilot in this, I feel like Pilot has the cheapest costume.
oh yeah, I agree.
In fact, Pilot's the only bad costume in the whole thing.
Yeah,
Everyone
I didn't think it
else,
was
yeah.
bad, but it looked. No, no, no. The Roman guards have the worst costume.
Well, you would consider that a costume? They look like they were the fucking village people. Like,
No, I don't. I've never seen the Village
yeah.
People.
So I was looking at him, and I was like, I can tell the actor who's playing Pilot is really Italian because he's got shoulder hair like several of my uncles. Um, and so a lady
Is this
comes.
Pilot's Dream? Are we at Pilot's Dream? We are.
Yes, yes,
Dream. Na, 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 na,
yeah.
na,
And now a lady comes,
called Pilot's Dream.
gives him his silver laurel, and now we cut to the market, the
Yeah, so
temple.
we're at this is the famous temple scene.
Yeah,
Everyone's selling everything from women to gambling to
to
drugs
to
to
automatic
guns
weapons, and I didn't remember
and
there being
postcards. And
this many crotch shots in Jesus Christ Superstar.
I know I didn't either. I was like, we toned
Yeah.
it down, and my mother went, "It was high school when you did it." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's why we toned it down." But what I love in the market that they have is that fucking rotating J.C. Penney esque thing of mirrors and how they manage to never catch the camera in it,
Yeah.
even when he knocks it down.
So funny story about that. They had to do this all in 2 takes because he got really into it and was like legitimately smashing all the props they had in this.
Well, I mean, good for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I also said to my mother, and I think I've told you this, and maybe you've said the same thing. But something I've always wanted to do as an actor is be able to smash a room of shit.
Yeah.
Like that's a goal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you must be having so much fun.
Well, I know you said that when I wrote you smashing the laptop with a hammer, you
Yeah,
said
that
that
was thrilling.
yeah, you said that I believe you said something like this was better than therapy.
Oh well, yeah, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Duh. Now everything's better than therapy. I'm just kidding. Go to therapy. Everyone needs therapy. All of you should go.
So the Pharisees are watching, and Judas is kind of like, Jesus, what the fuck, bro? Um, and we see an eagle. I think it's an eagle. I'm not really
It's a hawk. That's a hawk.
Is it a hawk? Okay, I'm not really a bird aficionado.
Yeah, that's a hawk. They
Okay,
deliver messages. The Pharisees used to use them like the Egyptians did.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's so funny. Like I think I know how everybody looks at this as such beautiful scenery, but I know I'd be so miserable in this like heat.
Yeah, yeah. I probably would be. I'd probably pass out with my vasovagal shit. Like I'd be
Hmm.
down. I'd be down for the
Yeah,
count. Like
yeah.
20-year-old Chelsea would be fine. 32-year-old Chelsea would be like, you know
Would
what?
you be
Give me $1
down?
million.
Would you
The
be
clown,
down with the
the
sickness?
sickness. Please play it.
Anyway. Oh man. I told you about the April Fool's joke, right?
No,
Oh,
maybe. I don't know. You have a lot of stories.
were my band well that okay, I'm sorry.
Well, no. Sometimes we're
Okay,
messed
I
up when
know.
you tell me
Yes,
them.
I know. But
That's
no,
what I meant.
where we my band decided because I had spent half the year complaining about how expensive it was to fucking go on Ozfest because they were charging fucking like $40,000 if you wanted your band to play at Ozfest on like the little shitty like 9 a.m. fucking third, stage or whatever.
Mhm.
And so we did an April Fool's joke, and it was like this elaborate April Fool's joke I did where I like cloned their fucking like website and everything. Where I said that
I remember this.
we were part of Ozfest that year on April Fool's. I announced this, and it was
Oh, now it's coming back to
this
me.
elaborate website I had created, and we had all these and it made me look like the biggest hypocrite, and that to me was the joke. Um, And one of the things I talked about, but it was the type of thing where if you know me, you could tell everything on there was me basically being sarcastic. Because it was going on about how we have so much respect for David Drainman and his monkey noises. And
How have you not been sued already? I don't understand.
I was told that we actually got heat from like the real Ozfest people from that. And I was like, just fuck them. Um,
No, you're probably thrilled to hear that.
Yeah, I was, that was the thing. Like, in film, when one person hates you, that can really fuck up your career. In music, now you have a feud, and now that's fucking, you can promote that.
Yeah.
So I was
That's true.
thrilled that, like, apparently they were, like, angry at us. Because I was like, well, fuck Sharon Osbourne. I don't give a shit. So,
I
let her
love
talk
Sharon
shit
Osbourne.
about me,
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah, so,
That's a ridiculous amount of money to give to bands that won't get an
it
audience.
is.
It's
The
ridiculous.
fact that, like I said, like no one will fucking remember any of those fucking bands.
No.
And record companies were, and it wasn't like technically, if you were a regular band, you could, if you saved up that much money, give them that and then play. But most of the time, it was like record companies looking at it as part of their like investment or whatever. But it's
Yeah,
still not. Yeah,
you're not gonna have anyone in the audience that can help you at that point. You're gonna get the junior assistant to the juniorist manager at a fucking label, and
yeah,
then maybe you'll show up and you'll get maybe 100 people when there could be thousands. It's
yeah. Because
ridiculous.
no one's gonna go and like watch your band play at like fucking 10 in the morning.
No, I mean I've done it.
Yeah,
I did it for My Chemical Romance before they were really big.
yeah. So Jesus is now walking around, and this is, where he meets all the people who are like blind and
The lepers, those are the
yeah,
lepers.
yeah,
Yeah.
and and once again, this is another one where I'm like, well, that person doesn't look like they're covered in boils or anything like that. Everyone they're like kind of like barely dressed people in rags but stylish rags with like ninja
Yeah,
masks.
the guy at the end of that giant montage before they start mobbing him is his teeth are so white and so perfectly straight. I
Hmm.
was like, but well, I guess it works with the whole foil of it being a troupe of actors getting off of a bus.
Yeah,
Where it's acceptable.
yeah,
That's the excusable thing. I mean, we had a fucking like AR-15 in the scene before. Like, what is happening?
yeah,
Um.
and
Yeah. So I love this scene, but I feel so bad for Jesus.
it almost has a horror movie feel to it. Like all
It
these
does.
like
It's terrifying.
people climbing out of the caves and surrounding him, and
I remember climbing back before I started injuring myself all the time. I climbed down the scaffolding of our set,
Mhm.
like climbed down it, but hands first to
Mhm.
like be one of the lepers, and yeah, it's really creepy,
Yeah,
really
you know,
creepy.
and
And
what?
he's just like, I need you all to leave me alone.
Yeah,
Just leave me alone. Stop
yeah,
it. There's only so much of me to go around. Stop it. You're gonna fucking kill me right now. Like, leave me alone.
yeah. So he
He's being
yells,
a human.
yeah, he yells, "Leave me alone." The screen fades and as the screen fades, we hear a woman yell, "Touch me, Jesus," because
Hmm.
she wants to feel dirty. So,
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
cut to dusk
And her name is Victoria Justice. I'm just
yes,
kidding.
I don't know who that
No.
is.
Oh, she did her in the Laverne Cox one.
Oh, okay.
Um, yes.
Laverne Cox. Okay, I was like, what are you talking? Okay, for a second I thought you were talking about something very dirty.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
about my massage today. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
The happiest of endings. Anyway,
I'm gonna have
uh,
bruises. I'm really excited.
there you go. So we cut to dusk. It's actually a very beautiful shot as Mary helps Jesus get dressed,
Yes.
and he's going back to camp, and he goes to sleep while Mary talking about how tell him to close his eyes and forget all about us tonight. And it's this beautiful sunset shot, beautiful sunset shot, and we see him sleeping. And here's where we get Mary singing "I Don't Know How to Love Him" as
Which
she.
is one of the most beautiful songs of all time. If anyone were to donate to CL Square Productions $100, I will send you me singing it from over 15 years ago.
There you go. What I kind of like about this is for a movie that's been so kinetic, this
Yeah.
is just Mary. It's just Mary Magdalene in the shadows with like singing the song.
It is one of the most beautiful songs ever written, and it's so relevant to my life right now. And
Hmm.
it's always, I feel like it's always, there's always some lyric or something to it, whether it's the melody or a lyric, I guess, that any person I talk to can relate to
Hmm.
and or finds beautiful or brings up some sort of actual base, visceral, primordial emotion like sadness,
Yeah.
anger. It brings up some sort of memory. Not a lot of songs do that, I feel, like in a way where so many people feel that way about it. And
Hmm.
this is one of those songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go now to that where we have Judas squatting in the desert in a disco suit, and he's dropping sand from his palm between his legs. But if you watch from a distance, it just looks like he's peeing.
This is what my mother said. Let me find it. All
Okay.
right. Judas is peeing with sand. No, now he's masturbating with sand.
What?
No, because he like picked up more sand and
Oh, there
then
you
did it
go.
again.
Yeah.
Like this.
My. So
My mother's brilliant.
now we have five tanks coming over the horizon,
And I
and
was
it is
like,
a
why are
pretty
there
neat
tanks? And
shot, and
that
we
like
don't hear them
it's a
until it's
great shot.
yeah.
It's a great shot. It's a great shot. And also I'd be fucking terrified if I was Carl Anderson. Like I'd be like, fuck, there's fucking tanks coming. What am I gonna do?
It's okay, Carl. Just stand there. You'll be fine.
They
um,
don't tell him what's going on.
yeah.
Is this the same song as the fighter jets? No, it's
No,
not.
that's later on. That's later on.
Okay, thank gosh. Thank God.
Yeah. So yeah. No, at that point, I'd be like, is the war happening again? Maybe I should leave. um,
Like, can you imagine being him being like, I'm not safe. Where's my trailer?
I don't know if I've ever told this story or not. I know but 9/11. Um,
Wow. Okay.
this was
Yep.
so
Okay. I need to physically, like,
okay.
mentally. Okay. All right. I'm there. I'm
Nine
fine. Okay.
eleven.
Go for it. Oh God.
This was not my friend. This was a friend of a friend's, but she
Okay.
shared it with all of us. So she had overslept because she like had a late night on September 10th. So and she lived on like right at the Brooklyn, right at the like border. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where like the water is. I don't know, like Dumbo, I guess.
Dumbo. Dumbo, yeah.
I don't even know if it was Dumbo, but it might have been the other
No, it's
bridge.
probably Brooklyn Heights. Brooklyn Heights
Yeah.
or Sunset Park. Sunset Park's on the water too.
Wherever it was. But so
Yeah.
she had slept late because she had a really rough night. And she got woke up by a fucking sonic boom from a jet flying above. So she looks out her window and she sees the fucking like smoke where the World Trade Center used to be. See jets flying overhead, goes to make a phone call to her boyfriend to find out what the fuck is happening, and all the lines were busy that day in New York. So she thought we were at war until she turned on the TV to find out what actually was happening. But she like woke up thinking that like a war was actually happening right now, like as she woke up.
Well, yeah, that's your worst nightmare day. I was in the fourth grade and was upset that a pencil had gone through my hand, and I had no concept of anything that was going on at
Yeah.
all. Oh my
Yeah.
God, let's not go down a 9/11 hole.
I'll just briefly
Yeah.
go into that because I was listening to Howard Stern. He had Pamela Anderson on, and I had no interest in Pamela Anderson, so I went to sleep.
Yeah.
And I wake up as Howard Stern is talking about how the Pentagon just got a plane that hit into it.
So you missed the World Trade Center part of it.
Well, here's the funny thing. So I'm living in Hell's Kitchen at the time with my brother, and my mother was visiting. And so I get up to tell my brother, hey, did you know a plane just attacked the fucking Pentagon? And then I look out the window and I'm like, oh. I literally just said that out loud.
Dang. I didn't know that story.
Yeah, I look
Like,
straight
you
ahead.
know what's fucked up is how many people ask each other what their 9/11 story is. I don't think I've heard yours. This is good.
Yeah, no, that was it. I remember just looking up like, oh. And then my mother told me about how she saw the first plane hit. Because because she was
Why are we going down this rabbit hole?
she was a flight attendant. And how she was like, hey, they're going the wrong route if they're trying to get to like JFK or LaGuardia or whatever. So
Dang,
that
that's
was
crazy. You know, my understudy in the play that I'm doing also come see Set Premiere August 23rd and August 24th at Theater Lab if you're in the city.
Mm-hmm.
But what's crazy is my understudy wasn't born when 9/11 happened.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's really crazy.
I know.
So
He's brilliant. I love you, Leah.
So speaking of 9/11, Judas starts climbing the scaffolding to talk to the Pharisees, and he starts talking about how
I feel like you just destroyed your reputation as the king of Segway. It's okay. It's okay. It's all in good fun.
I can do but you know what? I can make that joke because I am a born New Yorker, so I can.
There was no joke made.
Yep.
Sir.
Yes, it was. It was. Don't you hear the crowd laughing? Doesn't the audience think I'm hilarious? Oh man.
Okay, Messiah complex. It hasn't gone away.
So he starts talking to him about how he realizes he should help them.
You just said him and him. Can you be more specific?
Pronouns, pal. I said him and them. So Judas and the Pharisees.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
Oh.
So, and he has no thought at all about his own reward.
Oh, this is Damn for All Time,
Yep.
right? Or Blood, or no,
Just
Blood
don't
Money.
say
Oh, and you know what that is? My mom goes, oh yeah. My mom was like, oh, this is always my favorite. Not her favorite song, but I always like this song. I was like, why? And she was like, because it's the Batman theme.
Oh Lord.
And it is. It is. It's so close. For people who aren't musicians, it sounds like the Batman theme. It does. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
It's not.
So
it is not
yes,
the Batman
exactly.
theme.
So
Batman actually took Jesus down from the cross before he was dead. Okay.
Batman.
And he brought him back to Gotham. And,
Martha, why did you say that name? I didn't. I said Mary. Oh,
that's why Charles is here, because he's a descendant of Jesus, because Jesus was extradited to New York City.
Yes. Is that
Yes.
guided by Batman to New York City?
By Batman.
Even though New York City wouldn't exist for like fucking
No.
1700 years or something like
Don't
that.
question things. You're supposed to be all knowing. What's wrong
Yeah,
with you?
so Jesus can't control it like he did before. Jesus wouldn't mind that I was here with you. And then Caiaphas and Anna show up.
And side eye.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't want your blood money, and you might as well take it. We think you should. Think of all you could do with that money and choose a charity and give to the poor.
I love that they talk that they like peer pressure and convince him so
Yeah.
much by bringing up the fact that they've noted his efforts and like notice how much he cares for the poor. Like they are master manipulators. They're fucking brilliant. They would do really well in today's society.
It's a fee, nothing more.
It's a fee, nothing. And I love that Annis gives him the idea.
Yeah.
It's a fee. Oh yeah, a fee, nothing more.
Yeah, so he's holding out the bag with the 30 pieces of silver in it. There is so much chest hair in this shot. Holy shit.
I thought it was shot in a forest that had been burned. I don't know.
So they drop the thing. He has to bend down to get it, and they say on Thursday you'll find him where you want him, far from the crowds in the Garden of Gethsemane.
You find him where you want him, far from the crowd in the garden. I love it. Of Gethsemane. Yes, and then they got the fighter jet budget.
Yes. So, as I said, I wrote, I imagine if the Romans had tanks and jets 2,000 years ago, we'd still have a Roman Empire.
That'd be, I mean, like, I don't know how I'd feel about that.
Yeah.
It'd be better than some situations we have going on.
Well,
Maybe.
I mean, I wonder how long it would have if the Roman Empire had never fallen. I wonder how long it would have taken them to discover America.
I have no idea, but we have no king but Caesar.
Yep. So, well,
So now we have the Last Supper.
All I'm gonna say, respect for Caesar, Chelsea. Until now, it has been noticeably lacking. So
that's so good.
Yeah.
Yes. So now we have the Last Supper.
A sheep herder.
Yes.
It's not even the Last Supper. It's the Last Picnic.
It's the Last Picnic, but this is one of my favorite songs to sing.
And Peter is in the wrong place.
He is in the wrong place. A lot of them are in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And I love that. But also Michelangelo didn't know what order they were sitting in when he made that. He just made it up. He knew about Peter and he knew about Judas, and that's pretty much it.
Well, all I know is I'm offended by the Olympics. Anyway.
Oh yeah, and that's supposed to be the Feast of Dionysus.
I know.
People are mad that there were people who aren't of Olympic builds.
Since when the fuck is Jesus blue?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. People need to go back to school. Go back to high school.
I don't know.
That was Greece. Greece.
Okay. Yep. That is not on our list. We are not going to see Greece.
That's fine. I am so sick of that fucking movie.
Yes.
And that musical. I've always been sick of it.
Did she put up a fight?
Rape. You want to know what's funny?
Date rape song.
That whole movie is a date rape movie. That's a date rape musical. But the spa and resort that I was at today is John Travolta's favorite. How funny is that?
Is it?
It is. You can Google it and then know where I was today. But he's there all the time, like once every couple months. Yeah, it's crazy. I'll tell you the name of it up here so you can look it up. But now I'm just thinking about John Travolta and Jesus Christ Superstar, and that's a problem.
I believe, if I am correct, he actually auditioned and did not get it. For one of the roles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you okay, honey? Hey, sweetie, you okay?
She all right? Girl.
Yeah, she's okay. She's got the coffees.
Okay. So,
she's a good girl.
Jesus.
I love the Last Supper song.
Jesus starts freaking out a little bit because he
Yeah,
starts
well, he starts
thinking,
blaming
yeah,
them. He starts doubt.
yeah.
Everything in him comes from self doubt.
This is
Um,
honestly, I wouldn't want to hang out with this Jesus.
n-
This is
no,
like gaslighting Jesus.
he is
Like,
gaslighting Jesus,
yeah,
100%. And also, mind you, everyone, we are not shit talking one of my favorite musicals of all time, but
no.
it
Well,
is.
especially because this is from the perspective of Judas.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, of course, so pretty much from the perspective of Judas, Jesus was gaslighting the whole fucking lot of them.
Well, yeah, that's why I said he had bipolar personality disorder. Because every song he's talking about like I love you and you can do everything for me and you can be like me, or like you don't believe in me, I fucking hate you. Like it's the
Mhm.
thing, he just switches back and forth all the time.
My
It all
name will
stems
mean
from
nothing 10 minutes
insecurity.
after I'm dead. One of you denies me, one of you betrays me.
Yeah. What I love too that comes later on is like that. Yeah, no, that Mary said Peter did what Jesus said. How did he know? Because they don't include the supernatural element to it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Brilliant. It's brilliant. I don't remember the name of the actress who plays Mary Magdalene, but I think she's
I
just
have it
astounding.
written down. Her
Wow.
name is Yvonne Elliman.
I knew that at one point in my life. This used to be like my entire childhood, and even now, I'd say. I'm sure you could back that up, Charles, with seeing my apartment and the amount of, well, never mind photos of me, but not photos of me, but photos of the Little Mermaid. That
Yeah.
I go through stages of obsessions with
Hmm.
things, and Jesus Christ Superstar was a huge one of them.
Yeah.
So I knew her name at one point in time,
Yeah.
and I feel for this actress, and I don't know her from anything else, and it makes me sad.
Here's where I realized Peter had, and it's so funny. I literally until this version, watching this now to do this podcast, I never realized Peter had no dialogue up until this scene.
Yep, never spoke. Never spoke.
Yeah.
In the musical, he comes in and sings other parts where he sing or has a little more solos
Hmm.
and more time with Jesus or with Mary or with Judas or with Simon.
Yeah.
But the in this, yeah, no, no.
Because
What's
as a
cool about
go on.
go ahead, go ahead. I'm
Oh
gonna
no,
bring
no,
up something else later.
I was just gonna say that like even back when I used to know all the apostles, I remember watching this and I had no idea who most of them were.
But you
Because
always know who
only
Peter is.
Yeah, because only Peter and Simon and Judas ever get identified.
Yep, songs. Yep. They're never ever they're not named in the musical either.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really love is that sometimes in the musical version, and I've been a part of it once, in Could We Start Again, Please, which is my second favorite song of the whole thing.
That was the other one that was made just for the film.
Oh, well, since then, what they've done since then is they've included Judas in it.
Hmm.
So it's Mary, Peter, and Judas
Hmm.
talking to Jesus, and it's astounding.
Hmm.
It is beautiful. Like it's that, and then it's John 14:92 or 90, whatever the final song when he's being crucified. Those are my two
Yeah.
favorite songs,
Yeah.
hands down, hands down. But I love them. I love them all.
Yeah.
So the Last Supper happens. Everyone gets drunk and passes out and fucks each other. And mind you, then no one is staying awake
I
for
was gonna say,
Jesus.
what version did you watch where they all fucked each other?
Well, you see how Peter wakes up with like three women who are naked around him.
That is true, but
Yeah,
it's also because Jesus told them to don't dream it, to be it. And
right. That's in the Old
yeah,
Testament too.
yeah, exactly. There is the part where Judas left because he noticed that he was wearing garters and high heels now, and
Hmm.
he didn't remember putting those on at any point.
He did it just to make Ted Neely feel even worse about how short he was.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, he says that all you will, not all you, but Peter will deny me 3 times. Judas is going to betray
One of
me.
you will betray me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Judas is
Well, he
kind of
doesn't
like,
even say Judas. He doesn't
yeah,
call out Judas.
Judas
Judas is
kind of
like,
just
just fucking say
identifies
it.
himself as like,
Yeah.
hey, why don't you
Yeah.
say it? Blah blah blah, and you're a dick, and cut out the dramatics, and that's when Jesus is like, go on, they're waiting, go on, go fuck yourself, get out of
Yeah.
here,
And then there's
get
like a
your ass
little
out of
lull
here,
in it.
you shit.
Yeah,
your
and then there's a
fucking
lull in
disco
it, and then they
outfit.
go at it again. They
Yeah,
go at it again after like 2 minutes
because
time.
it's Brooklyn Jesus.
This is
Like,
Brooklyn Jesus.
hey, get out of here! None of you love me. None of you fucking know.
Yeah, yes,
God, can
that's
you
what Jesus.
imagine what a
He wasn't
different?
Palestinian. He was from Brooklyn.
Can you imagine what a different fucking film this would be with Joe Pesci as Jesus?
I bet he auditioned too.
Your words, not mine. You fuck. So,
Now I want to see that. That's funny. So now we get Gethsemane, which is like the one of again one of the. I'm going to say this about every song. It's one of the greatest songs ever written. It really is, and it's just it's greatly portrayed here. And now that I'm thinking about it, the foil of having the like sunset and like the little peek over the clouds of the sun is that
Mhm.
that's God not actually speaking to him and not involving the supernatural is even more brilliant because that's how it's done on stage. We don't have God showing up over some cloud on set. He's looking out at the audience as if there's heaven over there and he's
You
talking to
know,
God.
when you said that, I literally just imagined fucking like
I did too.
I imagine John. I imagine John on like like a moon, like a little half like I am
I am.
yeah
I
yeah
am.
exactly like Josh is God like on like a fucking like sun with strings.
I'm gonna tell him you said that. He'll find it
Yeah.
hilarious. He'll be like, Josh, listen to this episode. Why? Why? Just fucking do it. Well, I don't. Okay. Are you talking about hanging me? Someone's gonna hang me. No, if you're hanging from a stage though,
Yes.
like with fly space. Isn't that an
Yes.
upgrade? Oh no, I'm gonna die. No, no. Well, you've never lived. You just really have to help Ted Neely in Gethsemane.
Yes. Oh no, it's not even him. It's Joe Pesci. It's Joe Pesci in Jesus.
Josh is the wonderful artistic director of a theater that I've worked for a very long time that we're referencing, who's in
Yes.
Bishop Cove.
Yes.
This must be done, obviously, which must be done to Jews and to Jesus.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm gonna wake up my family.
Will no one stay awake with me?
Well, no, it has to be like, well, no one stay awake with me.
Yeah, God, you fuckers. You fucking brat bastards. So I told you, Peter, you piece of shit, you're gonna deny me 3 times. So
Brilliant.
anyway,
Absolutely brilliant.
yeah, so this is where Jesus is kind of like, if we don't have to do this, let's not do this.
Yeah, but again, Ted Neely does the great thing
Yeah.
where he either like spiritually gets the telepathic message from God that he has to die, or he doesn't get any response from God and therefore decides that he has to like either he makes that up himself in his head or he gets some sort of message from God making him resolute to die. And you can see it in
Yeah.
his face, the change with the actor. And it's a brilliant, brilliant rendition of the song.
Yeah, and I should note that with taking out the supernatural elements, this is also where normally the devil would show up
Yeah, for sure.
and try to be like, hey, you don't have to die tomorrow. Just I could give you all of this,
Yeah. Jesus was, or God was my buddy too. Let me tell you
Yeah.
what he did to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. For
So
those of you who don't know, Lucifer is a fallen angel. All right, moving on.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically we cut to and they cut to the different images of Jesus crucified.
Which I love that they did.
Yeah.
And it's during this beautiful fucking part of Gethsemane, like in the like the bridge, the music or the musical interlude.
Yeah.
And it is just so rock. If you ask me what a rock opera is, I say this. It really is. It really is. It's brilliant. This is brilliant.
And I hate how much I relate to the line about I was inspired, now I'm sad and tired.
Yeah, when that happened, I know. I was like, I feel that. My mom went, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's everyone right now. The climate of the world is really awful, but we're here
Yeah.
for each other. You
And
distract yourself from the podcast because you feel
yeah,
awful too, and
you
we make
know,
it better.
yeah, exactly. And him like talking about how, he's been doing this for 3 years, but it feels like 30. Like I can totally relate
And
to
how
that
he
sort of
says
shit.
later
Yeah.
on, he says
Feels
30
like
at the beginning and then
90.
90.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
So much. And I love that we never even get to see him rise 3 days later.
Hmm.
It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah.
But we get the shadow with the sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get
I'm spoiling the ending.
at
Jesus
this
gets
point,
crucified.
well, I'll go into my own thinking about the ending later on because it's fun. So uh Judas walks over and kisses him on the cheek, and Judas, must you betray me with a kiss? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
I prefer to be betrayed with a hand job personally. Is what Jesus that was in the original dialogue.
No, it was in the
So
Bible.
yeah. So the apostles wake up. They want to know what's the buzz and tell me what's happening. And they wake up to the Romans above them. And there's also the guys in the black tank tops, which I assume are like the Israeli soldiers,
Yeah.
maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. That's exactly who they are.
Yeah.
If I'm
So,
wrong, don't tell me about it because I don't want more emails because six are too many.
so, people are asking him if he plans on, and he tells everybody, just chill your shit. It's over. It was nice, but now it's over.
Yeah.
And as Jesus is being led by the soldiers, all these people come up and they're almost like reporters, like it's a press conference or something.
Yeah. Tell me, Christ, how you feel tonight. Do you plan to put up
Hmm.
a fight? Yeah, as he's being. This is when he's ushered up to Caiaphas. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and
And Caiaphas is the one who came up with the idea in the first place. When
mhm.
you think about it, Caiaphas and Annas are the foundation of the conspiracy of everything. They just didn't want to lose their power, and so this is why they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets convicted, and they even point out, Judas, thank you for the victim. Stay a while, you'll see it bleed.
I love that they call him a
It.
victim
Yeah.
too. They call it a victim.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant writing, Andrew. Thank you,
Now
sir.
we have him. Now we have him. Take
No,
him to Pilate. Take him. Yeah. So
you have to finish. Take it to Pilate. You have to. You have to
I'll
finish.
finish later on. So Judas is kind of all, what the fuck did I do? And we see
Yeah,
Peter.
Judas is like, I fucked up. Fuck.
Yeah. And Peter's there, and ladies are saying he hung with Jesus. You said you did this part at one point?
Then I think I've seen you somewhere. I remember you were with that man. They took away. I recognize your face. I
And the look
I don't know him.
when he does the denial, the look that the Mary Magdalene actress gives is that, like, you
Kills me.
fucker.
Yeah,
Like, it's such an
kills me.
intense look.
Kills me. And this is a big question. The actor who she's with, who keeps like holding her back, and they do it during the crucifixion. What apostle is that supposed to be? John or James? It's one of the two, and I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. They
But
don't even
he
say
shows up.
they don't even say the name. Yeah.
He never has a line. But I'm
Yeah.
sure it's in the credits, and I'm sure he's like first billed as like the apostles who don't. And because he's in more scenes than most of them, holding Mary back once Peter's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that important right now, but we should find out.
And so now we go to, who is this broken man cluttering up my hallway? Who is this unfortunate? Someone Christ, King of the Jews.
Yes,
Ah,
that was very
so
good.
this is Jesus Christ. I'm really quite surprised. You look so small. Not a king at all. We all know that you are news, but are you king of the Jews?
An astounding thing.
No, you're supposed to do Jesus's lines.
Oh, Oh, I wasn't. I didn't. It's okay. We
Oh,
shouldn't do all of this song.
yes. We'll probably get a copyright strike for it or something.
I was just looking at my voice memos and I was like, we can't go over 30 seconds of him singing this.
But
Okay, let me count that.
I always sing along with that song because I fucking love that song so
Well, it's
much.
a
And
great
as I
song.
said, I totally would. I think I'd be a great pilot, honestly.
No, you
Um,
absolutely would.
yeah. So
Pilot wants nothing to do with him. He's of the
yeah,
same class system as Herod, who's next door. So he sends him to Herod, and we've
yeah.
talked about Herod a
Your
bunch.
Herod's race, your Herod's case.
Yeah. Yeah, so he sends him off to Herod, and Herod
Yeah,
has a great fucking time and wants nothing to do with him and poo-poos him off with bagels. And
yes.
yes, and then
Herod sits on two dudes' butts. He does a little ragtime dance.
I was thinking that because it was such a quick shot, I didn't know if it was dudes or women, and if it was women, it was gonna piss me off.
Yeah, no, I looked and it was two guys. Yeah,
Okay, good. That makes me happy.
yeah.
Sorry, men.
And
Um,
I wrote when he starts throwing bagels at Jesus, that felt vaguely anti-Semitic, if not for the fact that these are Jewish,
yeah, no, totally. But because they keep making Jesus or New Testament references before Jesus is even dead, that's
yeah.
within the realm of things that you are okay to think. At least it wasn't fucking matzo balls. I mean, Jesus.
I remember though when I first saw King Herod's song, I was on the fucking floor.
Same.
Especially 20-year-old fucking, Messiah complex, like fucking blasphemous Charles, watching
Yeah.
this and thinking it was the funniest thing I had ever fucking seen. Um, if I
For
recall
those of
now,
you who haven't seen this, why? But also, this is the Eddie character of Jesus Christ Superstar. Is King Herod. He shows up for one song and then he's gone.
oh my god. Well, he shows up giggling later on when
He does, but he doesn't. They don't always do that in the musical. Sometimes they do.
yeah.
We did. We did.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to give rest in peace to Jack Carlson, who was wrongly accused of a stolen credit card in Queensland, who died today. I sent you the video of it
Why?
because it's just amazing.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Get some cups.
Why did you do this to me?
Hop in the car. Get some cups.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? How dare get your hands off me. Ta-ta and farewell.
It's this guy being arrested for credit card fraud, and he's just so theatrical with his arrest. Am I being arrested for a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? And it's just amazing.
It's ironic.
And he died today. So yeah, no, I sent you the video and it's him like they're arresting him and he's like, that is quite the headlock you put on me, and don't you touch my penis. And it's amazing.
Wow.
This
I
is
feel like it's,
democracy manifest is what he says. Like
I feel like that's one of my 48 personalities.
yeah, like what I sent you on Instagram. It's like maybe like
Okay.
a minute or two
I
long.
wasn't allowed to have my phone at the resort all day.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Well,
woe is me.
that makes sense though. It makes sense. It
Yeah.
helps you relax if you don't have your phone.
Yes.
So
It does.
Jesus is marched back to Pilate with the manly men in their purple and green, and
With the purple and green.
yeah,
Like Barney
yeah,
or the Little Mermaid.
and Mary is thinking of him and is very sad. And here's where we get. Could we start again, please?
Oh, okay. I already scrolled past that. Great. Well, could we start again, please? Is the greatest thing in the whole world. So,
Okay.
Mary is the greatest thing in the whole world. Well, now I can't find it in the fucking notes because I went past it already. It's because I'm so excited about this fucking song. Who's texting me right now? Don't text me in the middle of the night. So could we start again, please? Is Mary figuring out that she just can't, that
Also,
she doesn't know
Also,
what to
by the way,
what.
you did notice that I purposely started moving past this so that we could start again, please, and you could do this part.
Oh, Charles. Thank you so much. I still can't find it. Oh yeah, there we go. Um, what I love that they do a couple of times is obviously like Jesus is being escorted around by the Roman guards, but in this and in Jesus Christ Superstar, the song, he's by himself now because we're in this new like weird made up world where Mary is talking to Jesus, who's by himself, and she talks about how she fucked up. She always thought she figured it out, but she has no idea what's going on. And then Peter joins in with that, and Judas joins in sometimes. And the greatest thing I've ever seen is at the end of Could We Start Again, Please, is all four of them, including Jesus, doing a four-part harmony.
Mhm.
It's incredible. My nipples.
Mhm.
So could we start again, please? Yeah, and I mean, like, it's not a sec because imagine being a woman like Mary Magdalene during this time. I think that, as I said before, she's the number one apostle, and it's really a shame what she went through. Also, side note, something that's always bothered me, but I never want to really go so deep into questioning is why Mother Mary wasn't there in
Mhm.
this musical because she was
Mhm.
there for the crucifixion. She was there
Yeah.
for everything. She loved Mary Magdalene, apparently. I read that in in the Gnostic Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Okay, so don't
Yeah.
crucify me, please.
Who
But
I should also note the Gnostic texts also have her as the eventual wife of
yeah, I know.
Jesus. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, like, he has descendants all over the place. It is like biologically, the man Jesus Christ existed, okay, and he has children. And he had children, and there is a line of the descendants of Jesus Christ. Not the fucking Da Vinci Code. This is real life, you know.
Damn you, Opus Dei!
And that's my favorite thing about like why I like believe that all religions are true because they stem from something that had to do with some usual man who existed and was a real life person and things blew out of control like this happened, like how Jesus happened, you know? Because it's all based on things that happened in real life with real people and then telephone game spun out of control. Like look at Christianity now. It's the best. Um, could we start again, please? Is literally a question I have. And now I don't know where we are. Uh, I'm about to go off on a tangent, so stop me.
Well, what was your tangent going to be about?
Nope, it'll go on for like an hour
Okay.
about women in the Bible. Don't, it's not worth
Okay. Well,
it.
then let's just have
My
Judas.
thesis. I was about to read my thesis.
Yeah,
Not really. But...
let's have Judas commit suicide because he's the
With
30
his belt,
pieces of
it's a rope.
silver. Yeah, the 30 pieces of silver all scattered around him, and he's angry that God chose him to betray Jesus.
What's really funny, and this is the thing that I don't mean to interrupt, but thing that I haven't been mentioning in my notes that is a common theme throughout is that men are incapable in this, and even now sometimes, of accepting their own fault and
Mm-hmm.
what they've done wrong and blame it on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus does it, Judas does it, Simon does it, Peter does it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's every single fucking man. Caiaphas, Pilate's the only one who doesn't.
Yeah.
Pilate's the only one who doesn't. It's almost like he was forced to because he had no other option. Like you get empathy with Pilate,
Yeah.
and that's it. And you get it with Jesus too, but they all just blame other people. Jesus blames God. Judas blames Jesus for murdering him. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy
Mm-hmm.
the lack of self accountability that these men have in this movie.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I mean, like, and it's prevalent today. I mean, it, but yes. So Judas hangs himself out of guilt, and it's definitely out of guilt,
Yeah.
but blames it on Jesus,
Yeah.
which is fucked up.
Murdered me! Murdered me!
You're murder me, murder. Don't mean I'm damned for all time. Yeah, you are. You fucked up. I know that Jesus told you to go and sell him out, but that's a true test. That's the
Yeah.
truest test, and you failed.
Well, it's why in Dante's Inferno, Judas is at the lowest level of hell, along with other people who betrayed those who loved them. It's always been, and I mean, and you've known me long enough to know that's exactly how I look at like betrayal. That is literally the lowest thing you can ever do, and
It's on
that's
a biblical level.
yeah, like that's where like I cannot forgive betrayal. Like I can forgive a whole lot of other shit. Like betrayal is not one of them, and it's
Yeah.
part of being raised Italian, part of being just because that's like our big thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
and that's the thing is like so many people do like fucked up. It's that, oh, look what you made me do, and it's like no one made you do that.
I don't deal with that every day. I don't know anyone like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not even gonna say the segue I was gonna say.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate it. I know what it
yes,
was.
yeah. So I do love that after Judas hangs himself, the camera the camera like pulls out to the next, like the amphitheater, and
To the amphitheater
and I
where
love
Pilate
that
is now
so
presented with
much.
Jesus. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was one of my favorite shots where Jesus has to look at Judas hanging himself.
yeah,
Yeah, it's so cool.
yeah,
Because you could see him up on top of that hill, that random one fucking tree.
yeah. And so Herod is here looking like a bored child. Um,
Yes. And I
uh,
love how throughout the 39 lashes that he looks like happy and he's giggling and smiling and then he's scared at the end. I
yeah.
love that.
Well,
Yeah.
that was the big thing. I remember like practicing that scene and how I would do the lashes, and it's that you know after a while it becomes like that. Jesus, okay, this is going really far.
Yeah. Like,
Let's
can you say something?
yeah,
Yeah.
and like, come on, fucking just. Do I really
I
have to do
want
this
this to
many? Like,
stop.
yeah, and that's what's
It's got to be so hard having so much power too. Like that's the internal struggle.
yeah. And
Yeah,
and the other thing is that, most of those scenes, when you do a scene where someone's being whipped or punished or something like that, normally the natural way that it's done is to escalate, to put more and more energy with each lash, and this is
yeah.
almost the opposite.
It
And
is the
that's what
opposite.
yeah, and
I
that's
love
what's
how
yeah.
the sound of the whip doesn't match towards the end, like how they
Mhm.
have slow mo the whip. And I love at the end of the 39 lashes that like the guy who is the whip bearer has this moment of like, and he's sweating, but he's smiling,
Yeah,
and
that dude
then the moment hits him.
that
Yeah.
dude looks like he could go another like fucking 100 at that point when you first
Yeah,
see him.
I
Yeah.
love that women look like in the crowd. Another thing I didn't mention is how once Jesus is caught at Gethsemane, like how quickly the mob turns on him. It
Yeah.
becomes into a mob. The followers become the mob so quickly, and they are so less likely to defend Jesus and get Jesus to try and save himself than Pontius Pilate is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. So he gets whipped 39 times.
Yeah. Well,
It's
let's
really
even go into what
yeah.
leads up to that because we're almost
Yes,
at
of
the end,
course.
so we might as well go into that. But the whole, so we have Pilate there, and he's like, and so the king is once again my guest.
Hmm.
This was headed unimpressed, and then now the Pharisees are basically saying, we turn to Rome to sentence
Oh,
Nazareth. Yeah.
return to Rome to
Yeah, you have a
sentence
deeper voice than I do here, so
Nazareth.
you handle that. But like, we need him crucified, and
We
that's when,
have no law to
yeah,
put a
put a
man
man
to
to
death.
death.
We
Need
need him
him
crucified.
crucified.
That's
It's
all
all
you
you
have
have
to
to
do.
do.
We
And
need him crucified.
and Pilate is basically like, okay, that's fucking nuts. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus, just say something. Say you're sorry. Fucking say you're crazy, so I
Like
can.
literally say anything so I can
Yeah,
lock you away. Yeah,
yeah.
like
So I'll give you a fucking, okay, fine, you're fucking nuts. We'll, I don't know,
we'll
put you
lash you.
away
We'll
for
whip
like a
you.
little bit,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
We'll put you in an asylum or whatever the
Yeah.
equivalent was. Yeah.
And then because I remember this was part of like the whole thought in my head of auditioning is that like what really gets Pilot is when they start the mob starts going on about how, remember Caesar, you have a duty to, and you'll be deported, you'll be demoted,
You have a duty to keep
and
the law. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really like this whole pressure on him, and he's trying his best to help Jesus out here.
He is, because he doesn't want, even though we've already heard about John the Baptist, he doesn't want what happened to John to happen to Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know. Like, I feel for Pilate in this moment. I feel like Jesus is. I can't, Chelsea. You cannot say things that will make people hate you. But I feel like Ted Neely playing Jesus in the movie interpretation of Jesus Christ Superstar is being a whiny little fucking brat by not doing anything.
You know, any power you have comes from far away. Dude, like, you know.
Literally, it's someone who doesn't want to help themselves. And we see that so much today, you know? It's such a common theme.
So basically, when, you know, at a certain point, he has Jesus' blood on his hands, and at a certain point, he's had enough, and he's like, don't let me stop your great self-destruction.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to, you misguided martyr! I wash my hands of your demolition. Die if you want to, you innocent puppet.
I mean, he doesn't smile when he does it, but that was pretty good.
Well, yes, I was just like, Chelsea's very impressed with me. But anyway, so we go now to the title track, Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes, where Judas comes down from what is that called?
In his 70s fucking best from the Star of Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep. Mm-hmm. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So, put the biggest abomination to Christians who love this. Who I thought you were telling me to stop. You're fanning yourself.
No,
okay,
it's hot.
I was like, yes, it is. It is. No, we turn off our air conditioners and our fans when we do this.
Yes, because the audio would be shit if we. We had the rain last time, and if you listen to the episode, you can hear the rain and the thunder the whole time.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Sorry, Imagine Dragons. Don't care. But what's funny is like him descending from the Star of Bethlehem assumes that in Christianity, it's the opposite of Christianity. That Judas, someone who committed suicide and treason and so many other horrible things, even though he stood for good, winds up descending down from heaven like Jesus did from heaven,
with his like solid gold dancers.
Yes, and the women in this are the three dancers, and don't you get me wrong, are always just the most incredible part for me because I think they're astounding. They're so fun, and my mom said, "Oh, they're like Jesus Christ!" Like the different groups of the women singing that they illuminate the spotlight on. She was like, "Oh, they're wearing their Christmas tree tinsel."
And very little else too.
True. It made me laugh.
Yeah,
so
like
great superstar. And we see him now in a new robe.
This is another one. I actually first heard there's an industrial band called Liaback. And I heard their cover of this, which is like this 7-minute like slow industrial version of it.
Look at you, I don't understand why you allow the thing.
And
me. I want to hear it.
Yeah, no, this was also the song that I remember the first night that I ever had like a weird several person thing at the back of a bar was with this playing. It was pretty funny. That was funny because I did it because I'm like, I'm never gonna see these people again. And then it turned out when I moved to my own first apartment in the city, 2 of them lived above me.
That's amazing because New York is the smallest city in the world.
I know. It's crazy how that works out. And I became really good friends with them. Yeah, but like it was.
I feel like that always happens.
They were just like you. They were like, you were the one fooling around with half the fucking club. And
you were like, no, that was
I was like, wow, I
Jesus
actually did
Christ.
not think I was going to see any guys, but yeah, that was me.
Ever again.
And in fact, the DJ that I kept that the only person I turned down was the DJ, um, who later became a really good friend of mine because his name is Charles, and he was born on March 6th.
That's wild.
And we every year it's always like happy birthday, other Charles, like to each other.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. So, but yeah, this is a big dance number.
It's a great song. Everyone knows the song. If you don't, then you've been
Yeah,
living
I'll
under a
send
rock
you the
for your whole life.
lieback version afterwards. How would you want me to send that to you? Just
Whatever.
okay. So, then we see him being marched to Golgotha.
Oh, my AirPods are gonna die in 10 minutes.
Okay. So, we cut the song to see him being nailed to the cross. Apparently, one of the extras nailing him would never been in a movie before and actually had to be stopped by the director to really nailing the thing into his fucking hands.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's shocking.
So Jesus freaks out on the cross. My God, why have you forgotten me? Which,
You know what I noticed that they kept out of it is that he in the Bible and in the play version he mentions his mother,
yeah,
but not in this movie while
yeah.
he's on the cross. Yeah.
Nor do they have his like legs getting broken or the spear into the side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I love how they have a Roman guard like crawling up a ladder to go and put the N right afterwards. And I'm
yeah,
like, no, I'm sure that they would have covered that before.
yeah. So we pull out as the sun sets. Jesus is on the cross, and the hippies get back on the bus. And
And then
they,
we get my favorite song, which is
well,
John 14, whatever. Yes, which is the
so
instrumental song while this is all happening.
yeah, so they're apparently they're getting on there, and we have Mary looking back because she's like, "Hey, shouldn't we cut Ted down from the cross before we leave?" I mean, this
Yeah,
was
right.
supposed to be
So
a
this
movie.
is
They just left fucking
they
Ted on the
leave them. They
cross.
leave them. It's like so they everyone gets on the bus and it's like they don't give a fuck about Ted. And then
Yeah,
and also when they were doing the crucifixion, they had the other two people being crucified on either side, but now they're gone.
yeah.
Those my mom went, they're on the bus with
Well,
hippies.
well, they performed "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" and then left.
Yes.
Always look on the bright side of life.
They said, yes, they did. And they were like, fuck, Ted still has our fucking coconuts.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Judas looks back too, or the actor playing Judas, and
Yeah.
they leave Ted Neely
Yeah.
on the crucifix,
Yeah.
but he's hoarding sheep in shadow.
Yeah.
In
So
a sunset.
it's interesting, by the way, that this actually was it flopped in the UK as the play itself, not the film. The play flopped in the UK and then picked up when it got to Broadway.
Well, that makes sense. Well, it's lucky it got to Broadway if it flopped in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because it's Andrew Lloyd Webber, probably.
Yeah. In fact,
I mean,
apparently,
Love Never Dies is coming to Broadway, the prequel to Phantom.
yeah, which
Yeah.
I've still never seen Phantom. So, but
Well,
apparently
it's not on Broadway
yeah,
anymore, so I can't help you.
apparently Tim Rice had been the one who had the idea for in the late '60s of a story of Christ from Judas's perspective. And he
Yeah.
approached Andrew Lloyd Webber about it, and Webber said it was the stupidest idea he had ever heard in his life. Which it's funny how many times Teresa and Allison, that was exactly my thought when someone said I should write a lesbian vampire film. So
You did it the right way.
there you go. Sometimes you hear something and you think this is the dumbest thing anyone could ever fucking suggest to me. And then you stop and think about it.
Life.
And it becomes this big thing you get known for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that is Jesus Christ, Superstar. Yeah, it would have $3.5 million budget, made $24.5 million profit, and starred Ted Neely as Jesus Christ, Carl Anderson as Judas Iscariot, Yvonne Elliman as Mary Magdalene, Barry Dennen as Pontius Pilate, Bob Bingham as Caiaphas, Larry Marshall as Simon, Josh Mostel as King Herod, Kurt Jagerjan, I'm sorry for that, but as Anas, and Philip Tobis is Peter.
Yeah. Again, probably wouldn't be an actor or as good of a musician as I am if I weren't musical. So thank you, Andrew and Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I
And
said,
Jesus.
even if Andrew Lloyd Webber hates this version, I actually really, even though I've seen other versions, I really
love
like
it.
a lot.
Yeah, same. Me too.
I don't think I've ever seen it's unlike Rocky Horror, where I've seen versions I think are shit. I've never seen a
I've
version
never
of
seen
Jesus
something
Christ
bad.
Superstar that I didn't like.
People beat up the fucking 2012 revival, and I thought it was brilliant. So,
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a version I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. There's versions where there's a song that I like better in one version than the other.
Sure, of course.
But there's never
and
been
that's the
one where I'm
arrangement,
like,
that's the vocalist.
yeah, there's never been one where I'm like, oh my God, they ruined it. Which is so many other plays I've
Give
seen.
it time, Charles. I'm sure someone will.
Well, I won't go into it. Chelsea, where can people find you?
You can find me at Chelsea.LeSage on Instagram. And where can they find you?
I can be found at charles.d.lincoln, where, you obviously ask me where I can, where they can send emails.
I didn't know if it was that or the Seal Squared one. See, I don't allow people my email because I'm afraid of it.
I have my bullshit fuck you email that I basically give to people I don't really want to talk to. You don't even have
now
it.
Everyone knows that.
You don't even have it because it's literally but no, it's also like when I have when I sign up for something and it's going to send me spam mail, it's that email.
Yeah, it makes sense. I should probably get one of those.
Yeah.
I have like 573,000 unread emails on my actual email.
Charles.d.lincoln on Instagram and on Threads too as well, where you can see me just giving brilliant things where thousands of people like how just a world leader and a political
you're getting
figure
popularity on there. I've noticed.
I know it kind of bothers me if I'm being honest, but
yeah, makes sense. It's the anti-Messiah complex.
Yeah. So and you can find us together.
It's EL Squared Productions on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Yes.
You can contribute to my Patreon at patreon.com/CharlesDLincoln, one word. You can.
Yes, you can find me on Cameo at cameo.com/Chelsea.LeSage. Please let me make a video for you, and I will sing Hosanna, but make fun of your mother during it.
All right. So, Chelsea, are you ready for Repo?
Thank God. Yes.
Well, that's too bad because we're doing Little Shop of Horrors next week. And so
here comes another one where I'm gonna know every single lyric.
And I will say it's not the 60s Little Shop of Horrors with Jack Nicholson. It's the one with Steve Martin as Yeah, so it's one with Rick Moranis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great.
So so that will be our film next week. Will be Little Shop of Horrors.
Horrors.
Yep, Little Shop of Horrors, starring
Joe Pesci.
Starring Joe Pesci.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh my God! Can you fucking imagine? You need blood, and she's got more than enough.
I want him as Audrey too.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. My AirPods are gonna die.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me all night long, you fucker. All right,
you fucker. I'll fucking shoot you if you don't fucking feed me.
All right, everybody. Good night. Sleep tight. And yes.
Is it morning yet? Soon. Okay, I'm going to bed.
It's morning in America.
That's terrifying. All right, goodbye.
All right, everyone. Good night.